What? What? Come here. What's up? Raccoon ass making an appearance. Well, fucking cold. I'm also not exactly in a good mood. When I'm not, I get cold. Which makes me feel more shittier. It's a fucking hate being cold. Yes, okay. Yeah, no, sobriety is probably gonna not make me feel good, so let's fucking kill that. So let's warm me up. Nah, I really fucking doubt it. I mean, frankly, motherfuckers like that are essentially just like getting me to a point where, I mean, I don't even know. I guess it's probably honestly a thing I probably can't exactly openly explain. Santos needs to be, let's just say that. Like, I literally don't give a fuck about him. He should, as a necessity, needs to be gone. So, like, needs to just, just fuck. He needs to die. Like, I don't really give a shit. Like, fuck that piece of shit. He just enables further and more of the fucking same type of problems. Enables and allows for the acceptance and for the normalization of just nothing but outright lies and fucking false reality. And basically a continuation of, the fucking whole broader groomer conspiracy shit and all this other garbage. Like, he needs to fucking just be gone. Permanently. No, not even deported, bro. Like, deported 6 feet underground. Same thing with Bolsonaro, too. Like, he's someone who needs, a hanging. Via, like, execution by the Brazilian state, I'd argue, at least for him. Extradite his ass in fucking shackles. Because, frankly, I mean, it's not really 100% in the mood. And motherfuckers like that really, are the kind of causation as to a lot of my fucking mood. Not directly, but just for what they push and what they, are benefactors of. Speaking of, what the fuck was with Logan earlier on the group chat? Freaking out over, like, pronouns or some shit. It's like, dude, you fucking kidding me? Another reason, kind of right there, it's like, which I could tell he's not exactly very hyper-pro LGBT by any serious metric. Never replied. Probably because he knew he was wrong. Because there isn't exactly a good reason to just, like, not teach kids about these things or whatever, because apparently too PC. No one goes off randomly. I mean, I do too, to be fair, I guess, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, I know I kind of, maybe what went on a little, like a little bit of a confusing rant from my last one on the group chat, but like, fucking hell. Like, his shit's just straight up, like, what? I mean, that's, at the end of how I really feel with it, because it's just, like, he has been on Telegram since then. Oh, well, I've only popped in on Telegram like that once. So, I think after that, after I said my shit, I dipped off the chat. Oh, you know, I thought about this guy outside. Close the damn door on him. Here we go. Ugh. Came out of my mom today and she accepted me 100%. Aw, that's good. Like I told her I might be gayer than I thought. Well, at least, you know, she actually, you know, gives a shit. But, yeah, with the whole, like, you know, pronoun thing, it's just so fucking, like, annoying, honestly, when he went off about that. I know at least partially, I mean, that kind of ticked me off today, too. Because, like, dude, like, how do you think children understand the world, bro? Because they're taught about things. And guess what's a part of said world? Pronouns. Including ones that aren't exactly used as much. You know, the neo-pronouns and shit. Like, teaching a kid about that type of stuff isn't exactly like some bad thing. Because, like, the only reason why it would be is just because it doesn't fit into the hierarchical standard norm about what pronouns are and shit. It's easier, but they don't upset me. Sure. Yeah, and honestly, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of them out there that I, you know, find confusing in a way, but fundamentally, I don't give a shit. Especially considering that I don't even think, you know, like, you know, pronouns of gender is, like, you know, some sort of, like, inherent construct that's just, like, that was just already there before we came around, you know? Some that we constructed. By we, I mean, like, the species. Honestly, is a good person. Kind of says I was give her second hand consideration. Yeah. Sure, not my problem. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, fundamentally, that's what it comes down to. And anyone who wants to have, like, some weird uproar being like, oh my god, how dare you, you know, be this instead of what, you know, I want to arbitrate you as. It's just like, at that rate, it's just like, fuck yourself. If anything, like, I mean, at least especially when it comes to, like, legit persistent assholes, like, yeah, I don't even necessarily have a problem with being aggressive about it. Because, I mean, they're the, you know, because fundamentally, they'd be the ones who are fundamentally being the aggressors and trying to establish some sort of a norm on everybody. So, fuck their ass. False is basically as long as they're hurting others do a split, yeah. And pronouns to hurt others somehow. Exactly. It's just a way that someone prefers to identify themselves with. I'm Ted Cruz and my pronouns are kiss my ass. Or an attack helicopter whenever I'm feeling it on that too. And also, at least, you know, for the whole, like, my pronouns are kiss my ass. It's like, so are they kiss my and ass? Or is it kiss my and ass? Or is it kiss and then my ass? So something really dumb about pronouns there. I ain't gonna respect some pink-haired freak so-called pronouns, so I'm not gonna respect his. Or hers, I should say. I mean, it's just like that. That's a two-way street, motherfucker. It's like you don't realize that. It's like, yeah, that respect goes both ways. If you're not gonna respect mine, why in the fuck should I respect you? Especially when it comes to shit like that. I mean, honestly, that is a little bit my own philosophy too, at least. And honestly, it's definitely will get me some flack with lefties too and shit, where it's just like, yo, if there's no sense of respect, and if anything like an aggression over, immutable or arbitrary thing about me, I'm gonna go after that shit about you. I don't give a fuck. And, frankly, there are legit lefties out there like, no, don't do that. You don't have to, do that type of shit. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why should I, give some level of respect that they're not even gonna remotely, attain for me? Like, why in the fuck should I give him, any level of that? Because I'm not. If they want to call me some queer little, femboy fag or some shit, then I'm gonna start throwing shit right back at them. Some Nazi degenerate little, faggy little fuckboy that wants to get, slammed down by a bunch of black cocks while your fucking girlfriend watches or some shit. Slicking her fucking clit off to that. While she's sucking some big black dick off. Like, I'm not gonna give a shit. Yeah, it's edgy. Yeah, it might be a little, I guess, seedy and racy, I guess, but it's what they fucking want, and they know it. They ain't gonna get that respect back to me, so I ain't giving it back to them. And at least for me, it sounds like a fun time. At least, when it comes to a scenario like that. But for them, it's like the end of the world because their whole sacred white race is gonna get erased. So, I'm not gonna have any respect for them. They're less respectable than pond scum, like the fucking algae scum you'll find on a pond or some shit. Like that shit got more respect than them. Because at least the pond scum that sits on a pond actually has uses. She went down unless she liked to. Well, I don't think I'm autistic. I am. I was diagnosed that. So I already know this. Do you remember years ago when conservatives were offended, pretending to be offended by the use of the word they for when they don't know a person's pronouns? Sorry for proper English, they is only known for plural. Bitch, open the dictionary. Yeah, seriously. I mean, it just shows, their fucking hypocrisy with this shit a lot of times. Because it's just like, hey, I'm, these they, them pronouns are a bunch of bullshit. It's like, that literally has already been a normalized thing in society for fucking how long now? But, oh no, now that we're, maybe expanding that just a little bit more broadly... and it's just like that somehow fractures society and your fucking sanctified fucking weird Christian white race fucking culture. It's like, if that's the case, then I hope it burns and dies and rattles around in fucking agony as it fucking gets erased as a culture. Oregon's a good state to be autistic in, apparently. It is, yeah, actually. Well, about as best you can get for America. The banned pronouns phase is also pretty hilarious. They're still about that, that. They're still about, we need to ban pronouns and shit because it ties into the whole transgender thing and the whole drag queen shit that they're also going after. It all ties in together. It's like they might have, a very specific little thing they want to freak out about, a couple years back. It was, we gotta ban pronouns and their they, them stuff. And, and with that, it's, they're gonna tie it into the whole broader, it's these LGBT weirdo, queer, fucking little train fish. That's what they think. It all ties into the same broader fucking conspiratorial nonsense that they fucking push. Oregon has one of the worst mental health systems in the country. I think just broadly it does, but I am honestly not 100% too sure. My sister also said this to me: if you turn out queer, I'd disown you. It's like, I already disown you for being Confederate scumbag. No shit, bro. It's like, oh, you're gonna disown me? Good thing I already did that. You just don't know it yet, bitch. Dude, what a tard. Wages are way too low, which causes you short professionals and there aren't enough facilities either. Is that just like a countrywide issue, though? Like, the whole shortage of, like, actual mental health professionals, just in general, is, like, a national problem, on top of especially not being enough facilities. Like, isn't Oregon generally better about mental health services? But even then, it's still shit, because, again, America's healthcare system, especially with mental health care, is shit. So, with all that in mind, it's just like, even if, you know, Oregon might be a little bit better about mental health services, it's still shit, and it's still bad, because, you know, the rest of the country is also horribly lacking. Is the worst average for the U.S.? Worse than average? Damn. So, well, I guess maybe things have probably changed up a little bit, where some other states have actually started prioritizing a little more. If so, I'd probably imagine maybe like some New England states probably have. So, I mean, I will admit that probably is a change that's happened, you know, in the recent years, because at least as far as I was aware, you know, Oregon was one of the more better ones, but I think especially because of COVID and shit like that, you know, this has put a major fucking strain on everything. Ranked 49th? God, what the fuck? What? Jesus. Fucking hell, bro. Yeah, we need to expand that to, like, you know, maybe second. Who's the first? I actually want to look at this list. What the fuck? That as of last year, I guess. New Jersey, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York. So a lot of flyover states and New England states, yeah. Hawaii's number 7, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Illinois, Rhode Island, South Dakota. South Dakota's 12? What the fuck? New Mexico's 15, Arkansas 16? What the Montana 17, Michigan 18, Vermont, Virginia, North South Carolina, West Virginia, Florida. Fucking Florida's at 25? They're literally right in the middle. Florida's literally perfectly in the middle. What's Alabama? Well, at this point, it's going to the lower side of the averages. Oh, dude, we're worse than you. Mental health services in Alabama are 47, and Oregon's 40. What the fuck? We're worse than you? Our state's doing worse? The fuck? What happened? Jesus. It's easier to get service, but service is shit. Oregon service is better, but the access isn't there. So it's just accessibility for Oregon's case. Like, the services aren't bad. Well, see, that's what I was saying from earlier. Like, you know, if you actually are able to get the services, they're actually pretty decent. But, yeah, it's still shit because it's very hard to access. So, yeah, so I think that's why it's so low. It's just because of the accessibility of it. While in Alabama, sure, it's probably easier to get services, but they're all shit. And if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if there's, like, some churches that are, like, tied into that, too. So, like, you could have mental health services with, like, a church-led counseling program or something. So does that mean Florida's kind of like in the middle? Like their services are like kind of meh, and their accessibility is kind of meh? Does that mean like Florida's literally in the middle of all that? They told me to exercise more to calm down my restless leg syndrome instead of giving me medication for it. And that's just stupid. Like, restless leg syndrome is not just something that you just, like, exercise, bro. Dude, I stand and work all fucking day. And I still get restless legs a lot of times. They're not really restless now, but every now and then I'll start... Like, I actually will have it rub up against this, so you'll hear that sometimes. That's my leg, just because it gets restless occasionally. You know, so it's like, even if you're, like, out and about standing all day, doing shit all day, like, you know, working a job or something, like, you're still gonna get fucking, what? Like, oh my, that is just fucking, just dumb.
You schnauzers. Yeah, that's good pooches.
Good little dog.
Okay, what did you step on? I don't see anything
Nothing.
spilled. So it must be good.
Oh man, I am nervous. I feel like something's gonna spill.
And
I guess not.
never fly adamant. Apparently crazy.
What? He also told my mom to suck it up when she told him about my stepdad being sexually aggressive towards her. What? A doctor said that? That's the homeless assistant healthcare, namely. Yeah, those are like the main three, and hopefully at least one of those is at least gonna be addressed with the new measure that help expand some of the healthcare and stuff. But it's likely the most fitting doctor for Bama ever. So, I mean, honestly, he's a Christian doctor. Well, you know what? It proved my point about like how churches, you know, are intertwined with the profession. Which should just straight be fucking illegal at this point. It's like, yeah, if you as a doctor are personally religious, fine, but you're a fucking doctor and that comes first before you fucking sky daddy, bitch. Take a while to implement, I think. It will require a follow-up ballot measure. Well, shit. He's the only doctor within our price range, even with Medicare Medicaid. And of course, he's just some sleazy Christian fucking doctor that's like, just suck it up, deal with it. That's why I'm cheap, because I actually literally don't fucking do anything about it. It's just like, I don't do anything about your issues, I just tell you to fucking deal with it. Exercise, suck it up, just do shit. It's like, my lord. It's like, yeah, that's probably somebody who shouldn't have, you know, some doctor credentials. Damn, Bama hella sucks. If I had Medicaid in Montana and healthcare was completely free. See, like, even Montana's at least got some shit about it. Like, yeah, especially, like, socially is Montana kind of shitty, sure. But, like, at least it sounds like they got some decent stuff over there where it's, like, they were what were they on that list? Like, top 20 or some shit? On this whole healthcare thing? Or the mental health care stuff? Yeah, they're fucking number 17. You know, so it's just like, fucking, like, Montana's actually, like, I mean, you know, like, people kind of sleep on it, but it's actually not even that bad of a fucking state, you know, with all things considered. No sales tax either there. Oh, Montana, yeah, I'm pretty sure Montana's... It's because it used to be old school libertarian. They recently switched to a law-libertarian. Well, I mean... it seems like at least locally, I mean, things aren't as shitty, depending on where you are, you know, obviously. Like, some counties are definitely going to be better than others, you know, just because of the people that, you know, in the city councils or, like, the county, you know, seats and shit. I mean, statewide, I'm sure it's shifted, you know, especially to the more libertarian thing. There's that, like, Giaforte dude or some shit. State legislator when Trump... Well, the state legislator, yeah. Like, I mean, I'm saying, like, city council and, like, county council shit. And, like, state legislator, yeah. I mean, I remember that shifting, because isn't there, like, some state senator that, like, literally, like, pile-drived a fucking journalist or something? Like, I remember this happening years back. Like, I think his name was Rob Giaforte. I'm pretty sure that was his name. And he just straight up, like, took a journalist and just, like, boom! And just pile-drived him to the ground. And, like, smashed his glasses because of it and shit and everything else. They're trying to stamp out the old protections they got over decades of school libertarianism. Yeah, body slam Giaforte. Yeah, so, okay. I still can't believe I remember that. I was back in, like, what, 2017, 2018 or something? I remember him running as like a midterm like thing or some shit. I don't remember him running, I think, in 2020. Well, I'm sure he did, but you know, the whole big thing that he did was back, I know, way before COVID. So it's a direct ballot initiative, voters legalize marijuana, reject abortion restrictions, which shows that at least the people of Montana, at least, you know, aren't as 100% like gun-ho about like right-wing ideas. The years are sort of blended together for me at this point. Dude, I feel you with that, man. Honestly, like, I used to not be terrible with, like, keeping track of time, but honestly, like, with these last few years, like, everything's a blur. Like, it really is. Outside of 2020 specifically, that's not really a blur. That's a pretty distinctly year for me, but everything else, it just really is blur as fuck. It's literally like, I basically, my sense of time is like pre-COVID, post-COVID, you know, like basically pre-2020, post-2020. That's basically is like how I'm keeping track of time at this point. But yeah, I mean, at least with that whole direct ballot initiative, especially with the urban areas, I mean, you know, especially with Missoula, Bozeman especially, because it has the university there. Billings not as much, but definitely has a, you know, little segment of population that's, you know, at least somewhat progressive lefty leaning. I know my sister lives there, and she's a part of, like, the broader, like, metal kind of gothic punk scene that's in Billings and shit, so, you know, she kind of has an idea about, like, how at least a lot of younger people feel, and it's definitely, yeah, well, yes, Billings generally is very conservative. That's why I'm saying mostly around the youth, like, people, like, who are my sister's age or younger, and she's about, like, you know, a little younger than, she's in like her mid-30s, I think, you know, early mid-30s. So, you know, like, pretty much anyone from her gen and younger don't have the same type of positions as, like, you know, Billings does, broadly. Because Billings, honestly, I will admit, is kind of like an old-timey, like, retirement town. That's where, like, people work either at the rigs or they are just old, crusty-ass retirees. Trumpers have the loudest voice. They were literally celebrating Bozeman at Florida, going around the city, rolling coal at every intersection. So really, good lord. Man, motherfuckers like that shouldn't even get the fucking right to just go out and about celebrate shit like that, dude. Because that's basically just enabling fucking outright goddamn terrorism and shit. It's like, yep, we're agreeing and, you know, celebrating outright fucking, you know, domestic terrorism, and we wish to happen again, so we can continue celebrating and potentially, you know, even doing that ourselves here by showing our presence, by intimidating all of you. Let you know we here, we exist, and we're gonna fucking strike too. It's like, no. It's like, break out the fucking tear gas and, you know, fucking rat them out. Flush them out of the fucking town, dude. Strike for the right to leave in the middle of the shift. Well, I mean, it's... Rip is not in exactly a position where he could do that. He's not somebody that, you know, like, I mean, his, like, protections that he has are way different from me. Like, I could potentially walk off on shift, you know, for, you know, specific reasons and still keep my job. Rip City couldn't. Like, if he'd walk off, he'd get fired. For me, I got protections to where I mean, if I just walked off and just didn't have anything to say about it and just, like, walked off randomly, then I probably would. But at the very least, if I had a reason, like, shit, you know, got a family emergency or, you know, some other shit or whatever the fuck is going on, you know, then at least there's a fucking merit, there's at least a reason and an excuse, and thus can't get fired for it. But, like I said, there's a reason for that as well. I'm union. It also treats us almost like shit. Rents have increased substantially, forcing a fuck ton of disabled seniors into homelessness. Well, I mean, honestly, all in all, like, a lot of people treat homeless like shit. Because, I mean, let's look at Portland. Look how a lot of people, you know, Portland treat the fucking homeless. They just literally think they're like fucking rats that need to just literally be swept up and fucking put in cages or fucking put in some weird autonomous zone and just like brushed to the side, and hopefully they'll probably kill each other off, you know, and shit, so we don't have to worry about them. Guess the shelter rejected them. They're worse than Portland. Oh, I'm sure they are. Honestly, I'm not saying that like Portland's somehow worse, because it really isn't. I mean, it's like you got some really exceptionally shitty fucking pawn scum people that, you know, treat homeless like, you know, abhorrent, you know, like, you know, abhorrent animals and shit around here. But, I mean, that's a lot more common in places like in Montana and shit, for sure. I mean, honestly, a lot of those type of states, like the flyovers, southern states and shit, just in general, have this very strong disdain towards homeless people. Me and Mama had a great talk about it yesterday. Her favorite concerns union leaders could be corrupted by the Bush OCR, and now she thinks they're generally good. Yep, and honestly, most certainly happens. That's already happening. I went on a date with the daughter of the union boss for the local elevator union, and what I heard disparaged me. Ooh. I mean, honestly, it's just like, yeah, you get a lot of that type of shit. I mean, I think I know his dad was Jimmy Hoffa, but I think his name was James Hoffa. The guy who was initially the head of Teamsters. He kind of, you know, basically was a lot more of this, like, armchair, like, yeah, I'm just kind of very relaxed and just kind of not going to really, you know, do, you know, more aggressive pushes, you know, to enforce, you know, unit contracts, things like that. Essentially being kind of a soft belly, you know, with corporate and shit. And he, you know, eventually got elected out and voted out, essentially, because people were getting sick of his bullshit. And we're saying, if you're not going to represent us, then we're going to, you know, vote someone in as, you know, union president, you know, to actually do that type of shit. And I forgot his name, but I know the guy that they have in now is openly called himself like a labor militant or like a radical labor activist type. And it's like basically has made very strong positions about, you know, making sure that, you know, contracts not just get fulfilled and you know, and continue to maintain, but also expand and push, and also actually expanding, you know, locals and expanding their efforts too, instead of just, you know, maintaining what they already had, which was also slowly, you know, weakening them broadly, you know, with that in place anyway. It was just like, yeah, we'll just sit here, you know, just be okay with what we got. It's like, yeah, that slowly gets chipped away and shit, just on the virtue of you just being lagged behind. It's like, you know, because a lot of those type of wages, a lot of those benefits of shit, you know, will start slacking, you know, and you won't be able to make up with that. The current ones seem to be largely complacent, although the longshoremen definitely have a spine. Oh, dude, longshoremen's, especially around here, dude, fuck yeah, dude. Dude, I see a lot of people around here that are part of longshoremen's unions, or at least, you know, have family that are, because I'll see, like, attire, you know, from the local longshoremen's around here. That and carpenters and there's like one other I think local that's around here that's actually pretty good too. But yeah, I mean, other than that, they tend to be for the most part pretty complacent with just the status quo. I mean, obviously, like, how they go about treating the status quo is obviously far better than not having a union in the first place. I mean, mind that, but I mean, it's not just as, you know, it's not good enough to just be complacent, you know, with the status quo and just being good enough. It's not the point of it. For first place lived here, but frankly it didn't prevent me from renting. Because I let a homeless friend stay with me for a month, I left quickly because if you have an eviction on your record in Bama, you'll never rent again. Really? What the fuck? So that is some serious bullshit right there. It's like, oh, you didn't pay your rent once and now you're evicted. Well, too bad society, you're never renting ever again. It's like, what? At least for me, like, if anything, shouldn't that mean, like, if you've been evicted, you should have, like, easier access on trying to get in a house? Or something? I mean, at least for me, it's just like, if you get evicted and shit, then you should be able to have at least, like, at least very, short-term, quick, easy accessibilities, to some basic housing and shit. Or at least to make sure that you can still be on your feet. You were stealing space from your landlord? Well, your landlord was fucking stealing your fucking money by making you having to pay him, by having a roof over your fucking head. So, I mean, feeling's mutual. Using space you paid for? Yeah, you paid for it. You're renting it out. Like, you can do what you fucking want with it. It's like, if you're not renting it, then you're not renting it. But, like, but thus, you're not, technically the owner of the property, or at least the renter of the property. That would be, understandable. But if you're a renter, then as far as you're concerned, as far as it is you're concerned, unless there's like some very specific rule in place or some shit, when getting the, we get into place, it's like if there's like some rule where it's just like, oh hey, there's, where you have to basically, not let anyone else move in unless, the landlord is aware and they approve of it or some shit. Unless there's like some stupid specific little rule about that, then as far as I'm concerned, fuck off. Because that's just stupid. Like, because as soon as you're not renting that place anymore and you leave, as long as that place basically looks like how you left it and shit, then what's the problem? It's like, oh, you might find a couple holes here and there because someone's, because you decided to put up, like, some artwork on the wall or some shit, or, like, a tapestry on the wall or something. It's like, oh, you might find, one or two of those, but those are either not really noticeable or very easy to cover up by just putting little, like, boop, little something over it. Like a little dabble of paint. Like, repaint the wall, there you go, boom. Solved. Worked for 2 years as community program manager at a shelter, so if there's any question related, I'm happy to help with that. Sounds like a difficult topic. No. I mean, I'd say the topic itself isn't really, like, difficult. It's just that actually seeing that implemented and actually, having that, executed into, reality seems to be the issue. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, we can't pay for it, It's like they need to just pull themselves by the bootstraps, just suck it up instead of just being lazy or something. Then how's that a hot take, Random? Like, the Austrians are, like they're, yeah, like, with Rotwein, Red Vienna. Dude. Yeah, like, I mean, Vienna, like, is base as fuck, and at this point, like, pretty much most of Austria, if not, like, all of it is base as fuck, especially with housing, because, like, it's like over half of their housing units are, some form of public housing, and they have it configured to where it's not like, some weird ass, like, what people will, consider, like, commie blocks or some shit, because a lot of it is very mixed. Like, they have a lot of communal parks, a lot of different things are blended in with a lot of these housings, to where they're, like, basically, like, these big, like, little community neighborhoods and shit, that are, like, 2 or 3 buildings, and then you got, like, 3 parks that kind of surround it and shit. And, like, mixed in with some of that, might be a couple businesses here and there, like a little cafe or some shit, like, I mean, and usually they're, the owners of those places also live in the same building, basically. Like, everything is all really nice and, like, neatly mixed in and everything. It's actually fucking awesome. Like, there's a few videos on Red Vienna and shit, and how they, did it and how they got to it. And actually, it started even before the Third Reich annexed Austria, too. And they kind of took a lot of that away during World War II after they Anschlussed them. But after World War II, the Austrian government basically were like, we're going to re-implement that. And just, brought it back, right afterwards, because, the people remember it being so popular, and were obviously not exactly very happy when they, when the Nazis took most of it out. Essentially made it more like privatized housing apartments and shit like that. So, I mean, it's just like, I mean, Austria, even even like pre-Nazi era and shit, had it right. Like, they knew that, like, they knew how to fucking figure it out, because after World War One, there was a massive problem with homelessness and shit, especially with veterans, and there was also like a lot of big trade unionist and labor activism and shit going on at the same time. So a lot of politicians just thought of a good compromise to, not get them all rabble-rousing and potentially have a like workers' coup on their hands or something. Like they saw with sailors' mutinies in Germany at the time. So they, one of the things that they did was Red Vienna, was a lot of these mixed public housing units and shit that they did. Any community thinking, not party thinking? I'm sure what I mean by that. I think I know what he means. It means like political parties and shit, like tribalism. Like, you need to think more based on like, communally and, like more directly locally and stuff like that, instead of just thinking strictly on party line shit. I think that's what he's saying. Which, if so, then I definitely agree, and I, if anything, I'd say a lot of like, my labor activism tends to be an advocate of that. Because honestly, I mean, like a lot of the ideas when it comes to labor and shit do overlap in a lot of, over party lines of people. At least communally. Portland's new form of government might apply. We're switching to multi-member districts with nonpartisan elections to ranked choice voting. So, thus, Portland will eventually it's basically slowly making a shift away from more party-based, like, thinking and governing and shit. Hopefully. I mean, honestly, like, a lot of, like, city councils and, like, little county-based elections tend to be kind of like that, at least to a degree, where when you're voting for those type of people, it's not inherently necessarily based on the politics or the party, necessarily. It's, just based on who's running for that shit. And obviously they got a, party affiliation and stuff. Like, there's a lot of people that tend to either be Dem or Republican, obviously, one or the other. But, either way, a lot of them, will still, with that, use that as kind of a form of, like, partisan. Well, yeah, Riff Sage just said. It's like,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where, they'll use that for, like, partisan-based shit, because they still have a lot of their affiliations, and they still, got people lying in their fucking pockets. It's just on a smaller level. I mean, I'll say it's honestly, it's depending on the county, and depending on the general politics of the place, of the county and stuff. It varies a little bit, but around here in Clack County, oh my god, it's so partisan as fuck, I hate it. It's ridiculous. Honestly, like a lot of Oregon's counties tend to be kind of partisan. Walona might change eventually here pretty soon, with the new reformations that happened, but, a lot of these other counties are still partisan as fuck. If only the USSR was actually run by the works of oligarchs. Yeah, true. That's why I'm a lot more in favor of a lot of the like trade unionists and labor militancy that happened in Europe during that time. While kind of in the while the Bolsheviks are on the rise as well. Because a lot of, while Bolshevism was also on the rise, there was basically a lot of, suave different, forms of leftist thought that was going on that was very militant about pushing their ideas. And, part of it being like, French-based, like, commune syndicalism or, like, anarcho-syndicalism and, these type of ideas, while over in the East it was more predominantly things like Bolshevism. But it's why, honestly, I have a lot more of an interest in syndicalism and shit, and at least in a lot of the early, leftism that was going on in Europe, at least in the West and shit, because it was built up a little differently. Because it already had the industrialization and thus had more of a framework to be able to build what Marx was kind of initially was talking about. Because the one thing that definitely, made, the USSR kind of what it was in a lot of extents was it had to mass industrialize because it was mostly an agricultural society. And because of that, you had to talk to a lot of industrialists, not just workers, so those industrialists obviously got a lot of money in their fucking pockets, and Well, you basically just got a state capitalist society at that point. Because now who's really calling the shots? It wasn't already there. You know, they had to, you know, get these type of dudes and basically work with them. Work with the robber barons, essentially. Which also led to things like Holodomor, stuff like that. Which I know a lot of takey, like, Bolshevik-style lefties don't really like to mention. That's why the Communist Party USA is laughingstock. Yeah, it literally is a shell of its former self. Like, basically the the Communist Party USA, like, pretty much everything pre-World War II was base as fuck. Everything after that, they literally just, like, fell to so much infighting due to the Red Scare and shit, and it had a sense of paranoia that rose within their own ranks because of that shit, because they're like, oh, you know, like, we don't need the feds, you know, trying to go after me, so I'll rat this guy out. You know, and also, like, it, you know, basically fractured a lot of the Communist Party nationally, and thus made a lot of these smaller chapters that basically fight with each other. And now you have a bunch of straight up, like, kind of weirdo ooh theorists and shit that really, frankly, don't really have the experience to back up what the fuck they're kind of talking about. Not that you really need it, but it's like they think ooh red theory, so thus I know it all. It's like, nah, bro. It's like, yeah, I know, you know, theory too, but there's like one thing from just knowing that and also how to go about, you know, executing that in reality. You can't just, like, ooh theory your way into things. Eugene Debs is base as fuck, had the potential of being American Lenin. I mean, I want to go that far with it, but he definitely was based as fuck. Like, he ran for president in a goddamn prison cell. Because he was arrested for basically being a radical extremist at the time and a seditionist or whatever the fuck. Just because he was a very radical leftist unionist at the time, and they obviously were not very fond of him because of that, so they tried trumping charges up against him and shit. But yeah, Eugene Debs is fucking based. I think he had what was his number? Because he literally, like, his prison number was basically a part of his campaign too. Let me see if I could. Eugene Debs, yeah. And also, another little fun fact, he's also one of the founding members of the IWW. But, what's your prison number, buddy? Where is it? Where it be? It's probably going to be one of these pictures, I would assume. Oh shit, well, I found a picture of him while in prison. This is a picture of him in prison. While you can see him right there in the chair. Looks like he's reading a book or something. Who's all the other, like, suave gentlemen in the back? Like, who's all these other dudes? So, okay, so it looks like at least, you know, it's mentioning in there. I'm assuming biography? Yeah, it'll probably be in here. Let's see. Where's your... It's gonna be in... Probably here? That doesn't say here. Split to found presidential elections. Would it be in here? President 04, 08, 12, and 20. The final time for prison, so let's try to find that. Social split with the IWW. It's somewhere in here. Hey, look at this guy. You know what? I kind of see what you mean, though, Venom, with him kind of looking like an American Lenin, because there's a very, like, Lenin-y, like, posture. There's, like, a very, like, charismatic, like, Lenin-esque, like... I mean, even with his, like... Even, like, with just, like, the silhouette of him. Like, even. At least in this frame. In Canton, Ohio. Before being arrested for sedition, because he made a speech. Again, trumped up charges, but it should probably be in here. Sedition conviction. In here somewhere? Dude, he told this to the court, bro. Your Honor, I have stated in this court that I am opposed to the form of our present government. That I am opposed to the social system in which we live. That I believe in the change of both but perfectly peaceful and orderly means. I am thinking this morning of the men in the mills and the factories. I am thinking of the women who, for a paltry wage, are compelled to work out their lives. Of the little children who in this system are robbed of their childhood. And, you know, honestly, that kind of sounds very tangential to another speech that, Greta Thunberg actually mentioned once. And in their early tender years are seized in the remorseless grasp of mammon and are forced into industrial man, fucking poetic, bro. Dungeons where they feed machines while they themselves are being starved body and soul. Your Honor, I ask no mercy. I plead for no immunity. I realize that finally the right must prevail. I never more fully comprehended that now between the great struggle between the powers of greed on one hand and upon the other the rising oaths of freedom. I can see the dawn for a better day of humanity. The people are awakening. In due course in time, they will come into their own. Where the mariner sailing over tropic seas looks for relief from his weary watch, he turns his eyes towards the Southern Cross, burning luridly above the tempest-vexed ocean. As this midnight approaches, the Southern Cross begins to bend, and the whirling changes of their places. With the starry finger points, the Almighty marks patches of time upon the dial of the universe. And through no bell may be the glad tidings, so the lookout knows that the midnight is passing, that the relief and rest are close at hand. Let the people take heart and hope everywhere, for the cross is bending, midnight is passing, and joy cometh in the morning. Fucking based. There, is his, conflict number in here? This number has to be in here. Well, I'm not seeing exactly, his convict number. I'm trying to find it, but I don't see it.
Never trashed this. Good idea.
Yeah, well, I'm not finding it, so whatever. I think it was like 32 something. 3237, I think, or something like that. I know some number like that. They much same energy as each scenario. Well, I mean, I don't think he. Well, I don't know. I mean, he kind of had like some qualms with that himself. About kind of being a leader. Or because he just kind of because he just mainly wanted to be a voice, not necessarily just like an actual like leader in a sense. At least, with some of the things that were mentioned, that were kind of skimming over. But, yeah, they're really... Man, Bernie Sanders has been a long admirer of Debs and produced a 1975 documentary about him. Huh. In the documentary, he describes Debs as probably the most effective and popular leader that the American work class has ever had. Based. Sanders hung portraits of Debs in City Hall in Burlington, Vermont. Nice. When he served as mayor of the cities in 1980s and has a plaque dedicated to Debs in his congressional office. Dude, that is pretty dope. I didn't know that, dude. That's fucking based. Based Bernie. Based Bernie. I know, dude. I like it. Oh, shit. The Oregon State Senator Eugene Debs Potts was named in Debs' honor. Who's this? Eugene Debs Potts. Or Eugene Potts. Who is this guy? Who's this? Itchy Zooks. Well, he's also in, like, kind of like a bowl in that chair, so... Oh my god, what a goof.
He's in a puppy ball.
There. What's this guy's public service? Potts Center, local public mayor of Grants Pass in 1958. Served 1 2-year term as mayor prior to being elected to New York State Senate in 1960. He was elected to a total of 6 4-year terms, serving until 1984. And during the time, his peers elected him as Senate President twice. While Potts was a Democrat, his conservative political views made Republican senators his natural allies on many issues. Oh, no. Wait, why does he get to be named after this son of a... Why does he get to be named after Debs then, huh? During 67, 68, 1960... However, Potts and other conservative Dems joined the Republican caucus to organize the Senate with the help of Republicans. Potts became Senate President, a term... Blah, 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 blah. Until the Oregon Constitution was changed in 1972, the Senate President served as acting governor whenever the governor left the state. Huh? That's so weird. I'm glad that changed. As a result, Potts served as governor when Governor Tom McCall traveled outside of Oregon. During his 10 years as Senate President, Potts served as Oregon's governor for a total of 196 days. So this guy basically was like a governor by proxy for a while. Dude, what the hell? After Oregon voters approved the state-run lottery in 1984, Governor Victor Adier appointed Potts the first chairman of the Oregon Lottery Commission. Potts served as commission chairman for 19 years, from 85 to 03, helping the state lottery become the state's second largest source of general fund revenue. Potts died from a fall from his porch shortly after retiring from the Lottery Commission. Well, that sucks. And that's everything about his public life, and the profession was a sawmill owner.
Died from a fall from the porch. How embarrassing. Died from a fall from like a thousand-foot cliff. Okay.
He was kind of an old dude at that point.
From a porch, that would be embarrassing.
Oh my god, he actually... Oh, dude, I didn't even notice the picture of him on the front page of this wiki. It literally shows him when he was, like, an active governor when, like, Tom McCall was gone.
Oh, governor.
No, Eugene Potts...
You're famous and you die, you falling off your porch.
Well, no, Eugene Potts wasn't the governor, per se. He was the state Senate President, and at least before the... What was it? Hold on, let me get back to it.
This would be the governor.
No, hold on. Okay, so yeah, until 1972, when the Oregon Constitution was changed, basically the state Senate President could act as the governor whenever the actual governor was out of the state.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Potts served as a governor when Governor Tom McCall traveled outside of Oregon. So, during his tenure as the Senate President, Potts served as the Oregon governor for 196 days in totality.
Tom McCall?
Yeah. So, I guess technically we had two governors with...
He was a famous governor.
Yeah.
He was a really good governor. Apparently, he couldn't watch his stepping off his porch.
No, Tom McCall didn't die from stepping off the porch. Eugene Potts did. Which he also was the first guy the first chairman for the Oregon Lottery Commission when that was started up. And it was after he retired from that in 2003 is when he died, like in December.
And sure give me the numbers for the winning ticket. That would have been nice. Anyhow, trash,
I am
food, bed.
He's 81. You can't connect with 20-somethings at that age. Wait, what? Not easily, I'm 20 something and he connects with me. I mean, I don't know. Bernie, I mean, I could kind of connect with him in a way. I mean, because I definitely am a strong admirer of Eugene Debs myself as well. So, at least for me, I tend to, have, like, admiration for people who are obviously old. I forgot that goes off. That's his new diversion. Yeah, well, yeah. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a developmental disability. Well, it's a spectrum, so I mean, kind of, but it's predominantly more of like a social developmental thing. Like, I mean, if anything, actually, there tends to be, not always, but there tends to be more of like a heightened sense of like, ability to develop in like certain things, like whether it be like art or, at least for some math or some other stuff. And then, with that, though, there's kind of a drawback and a lack of developmental ability with, social interaction. That doesn't obviously mean that, they're all just, like, silent, not gonna say anything, because look at me, I don't shut up. But again, it's also a spectrum for some, it could be very severe and, to where they can't really, have a legitimate, like, independent life necessarily without actual, like, professional, caretakers and shit. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean they're, like, dumb or anything necessarily. It's just that they just have a really bad, ability of social interaction and just need people who are able to, know how to work around that. So they at least, can still live life comfortably. And honestly, I've definitely seen, some cases where it's just like, I mean, maybe the parents are trying, but it's like they should not be the one trying to take care of their kid, unfortunately. It's not because, again, they're bad, but it's like they obviously got too much of their hands full, and that in itself is obviously, like, spilling over. I remember when DFAT Fried did their episode on autism, actually. The one of them that I remember seeing before was, like, this mom and one of her kids and shit. And the house was literally just, like, full of holes where, this kid was obviously very mad and, punched a hole in the wall and stuff. And it's just like, I mean, shit, to be frank, I mean, I've, growing up, I've done that once or twice before, and shit. So it's like, I can get it, but it's just like, there's obviously a major, like, extra levels of, severe, developmental things going on outside, with what I deal with, which are a lot more minor, or at least mild in comparison. And honestly, for a lot of people that tend to be autistic, sometimes it's more or less just a more unorthodox way of, social interaction. It's like, it's not really like they have a lack of developmental, social interaction abilities. It's that they just kind of have a more unorthodox way of it. I guess.
I can't believe Tom McCall died falling off his porch.
No, that's not who the fuck it was. Oh my god.
Okay.
I've said the dude's name like 3 times now. It was Eugene Potts. I don't know how Tom McCall died. I don't know about him.
I never did that.
Well, you know what? He's just.
Like Tom McCall died falling off his porch. I'm just like, how embarrassing.
I'm just gonna fucking. He died way, like, sooner before fucking, Eugene Potts. Like, he died in 83. So, how did he die?
In 1983 or 1883?
1983.
Okay.
So, Tom McCall died, like, way early on when he was sick. Oh, prostate cancer? So, prostate cancer. There you go, okay.
Okay.
God damn, you drove a fucking Audi around town? Dude, god damn.
There's, like, tons of stuff named after him, so.
Well, yeah. I know he's a big, famous dude. I honestly don't know too much about him. Republican, well, okay.
I don't know
American statesman, politician, but he was just born and raised Oregonian. Died of Portland, Oregon. Well, actually, no, he was not born and raised. He was born in Massachusetts, actually. In what? How do you say it? What the fuck type of town name is this? How in the hell do you say this? Siktuit? Stick to it? What? How do you say this? Like, what name is this for a town? Like, okay, if I straight up am looking at this in pure confusion, then you need to rename your town. I could at least, look at, like, some Icelandic name and be like, alright, I could kind of see how that's sounding. This...
Okay, what's the name of the town?
I'm just gonna spell it, because I really seriously can't, like, say it. It's Scituate. Scituate? Or Scituati? Scituati? It's what?
Something that involves shit, okay.
I don't know. Scituati? I don't know. Like, how do you say that? Oh, wait, here.
You're supposed to be Icelandic. You should know how to say
It's Massachusetts!
Scituate.
Scituate? It's Scituate. That's really? Scituate. It just sounds like you're cutting yourself off from saying situation. It's like, hey, we got a little bit of a situate. It's like...
And I thought Portland was bad.
It's a perfect name. It's Portland. Portland. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that bad? I mean, Situate, like, how in the fuck do you, like...
got a port, so it's...
Yeah, like, I mean, Situate, where in the hell does, like, what's, like, is there, like, a meaning behind the name or anything? Is there, like, a reason for this name? What's it? I want to know the, like, yeah, history. Will this help?
Yeah, I named the town Puckett.
The name. Okay, no, wow, it's actually one of the first things here. The name Scituate is derived from Satuit, the Wampanoag term for cold brook. Oh, have I been doing mild racism this entire time and not realizing it now? It's derived off of okay.
It sounds like someplace cold.
Well, that's
why I came out this way from Billings. It's warmer out here, so...
Until it's the winter, then it gets cold again.
Yeah, I hate the, like, 100-degree below zero winters.
And you get this Arab as a history of being an anti-Muslim town. Oh yeah, Arab. I mean, because it was meant to be like Arad or something like that. It was meant to be straight up like some other name, but some idiot literally misspelled it because, just that really confirms the education system in Alabama more than anything else. Alright, we're gonna name it after this guy. What was his name? Arab? Alright, we'll just say Arab, I guess. It's kind of a weird fucking name, but whatever. Anyway. Well, that's the name of town now.
Okay,
it's now Arab.
No problem. It just doesn't sound very good in our language. Oh, jeez.
Does it sound good in our language just because we're white?
I'm gonna go sit down before my leg breaks.
So you want to put an, yeah, like, when it comes to Scituati, or, yeah, it's like, yeah, it doesn't sound as good with us because we white. We're incapable of the baseness. It was misspelling the town's founder, Arid Thompson. Yeah, it was meant to be Arid by the post office. Yep. Thanks, how'd you know that? I mean, it's a fun little random fact about Alabama, is knowing that that's a town and why it was, spelt that way. And he looked it up because Google is a thing. Yep, Google, bro. Got that Google machine all up in here. I don't know how accurate this is, but Google Translate says Alabama translates to "they don't stop." What, in Arabic? Wait, really? I'm looking this up. I actually want to test this. Translate this directly into Arabic, though. Hey, that's fine. I'll make it work. English to Arabic. Alabama. Okay. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to actually go on the actual translate. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alright, what do we got?
ألون بما
Alal Bima. What? Does it, here, now let's flip that around. So I can, yeah. Select all. No, okay, maybe not all of it. Just that, yeah. Copy. And select all. And take that out. Then switch this to the old English. Where are you? There's that. Alright, cool. And boom. Paste. It says owl with what? So with owl with what? Arabic to English. Well, now I got it, but it's it gave me a little bit something different. It literally is owl with what?
Al with what?
Yeah, I just played it. Yeah, so I don't, I don't get it, but all right. Needs to be added on. Oh, well, the thing is, it has to be an actual like Arabic, right? Hold on. Fuck. Okay, how do I do this? All right. I am figuring it out.
I'd love to go to Indonesia, but I'm not taking the flight. I'll take the boat. At least I know how to swim. I don't know how to fly.
What? The fuck did that even come from?
Apparently all the airplanes crashed.
Here. Like, okay. What? Oh, okay, here we go. Except with what? That's what it says. Here we go.
What? Except with what?
That's the most random interjection ever. I know, dude. I don't get it. Like, what the fuck did it even come from? Like, he makes random ass interjections. Yes, I think he just does. I think he literally just has no filter and just, yeah. So, yeah, that just, yeah. I just am sitting here like, what, I don't even, okay, I don't even know or really care to try to process that. That's just, yeah, that's just kind of, just, yeah, that's kind of happened to plurp out, and yeah, I don't know. Apparently, Dad's taking the next boat to Indonesia because he knows how to swim. He's like, well, if I want to go there, I won't take a plane because they crash a lot, apparently. So I'm taking a boat because I can swim. It's like, what the fuck? Where does shit like that just come from? You know, like, is this just like the... does your like stepdad also like blur random things out? Is this like a boomer thing, or is this like just a him thing?
Watch Mayday. Half the shows are about Indonesia.
What?
Ain't on there unless I'm on a boat.
Sending Dad to Thailand. If he gets hardcore libertarian, he'll love it. The ironic part, there are a lot more boat accidents than plane accidents. Yeah, because there tends to be, like, rougher seas and shit like that, and plus it takes, like, days to travel. Well, I guess depending on, like, where you're going. And also, like, if a boat crashes and you're in the middle of the ocean, like, it don't matter if you can swim, you're just kind of fucked. Like, I mean, you're, like, unless you can see some land and you're like, alright, there's land, and start slowly but surely making your way over there, like, even then, you're still kind of fucked. Because also there's things like, you know, the sharks and other predators and who knows what the fuck else in that ocean. So, like the Kraken could come up and just like...
Floating in midair, I think, would be better than being eaten by a shark.
My step has enough filter, not just blurry us, because mom will jump if he says something moronic, so he mostly keeps stuff. So, well, you know what? I feel like that was probably the case, but now that there's just... I mean, it's not exactly what was moronic. It literally was just, like, the most randomest thing. Like, it just, like, was just out of nowhere. It's like Snake in a flagpole. Pole in flag form. What? When old, you become as shit you won't give. I guess so. You know what, like, should we take bets on, like, the next thing he'll just randomly interject with when he comes in here again? I don't mean, like, coming, like, and leaving. I mean, like, coming back in here again. Like, I mean, I'll just, like... Because I feel like, you know, we can make bets on, like, random shit that, you know, could potentially be just, like, blooped out. I will admit, though, I don't think I saw that one coming. That was the most straight up, I think, out of all the ones that he's probably done. That is the most randomest one I think that's ever been done. It's like, the fuck? Toes busted again. Oh, no, I will not fix that. He's on his own. If your dad ever deprecated himself with, let me come in again, I lose my shit. He probably will. Eventually.
Why Adam Air?
Adam, what is that, like an Adam and Eve airline?
Yeah. Well,
wait, what? Wait, really?
They went out of business because too many of their planes just, like, fell out of the sky. So no one flew them anymore, and they went out of business.
Adam's something? I don't know.
Which I guess is a good thing.
Oh shit, that's probably a good thing. Oh yeah, let me just put a negative Yelp review on, you know, and just be like, yeah, you're not a good company, fuck you, man.
Lots of negative reviews because, well, maybe not, because no one lived to make a negative review.
Oh my god. That's why we have a thing called a government.
The planes kept falling out of the sky.
Is he talking about? I don't even fucking know. Adam Air is an airline out of Jakarta. How the fuck does he just know that shit? How do you know that? How the fuck does he know that? I legitimately don't even know. Where in the fuck does he just know this information? What the I didn't even know that. What? How? What? That's possibly thinks right. Every time he asks that, it's when he leaves. You'd email more timely with that. And no, I don't want to ask him that anyway, because I don't want to hear the bullshit. Like, it's like, God, ugh. he just ups and leaves. That's thought on the Pope. Oh my god. This is just... What, do you want me to just fucking follow him now? Have constant, Boomhauer speak, be given to you, where I'm actually surprised that y'all were able to even understand that shit. Like, it's always usually like, what is he even saying? Were you able to decipher that? But nah, y'all understood everything he said this time. Which, I'm actually surprised, like, even I have to struggle to really understand what he's trying to say. Stepdad speaks slightly in Boomhauer, so we have a reference point. I'm pretty sure that's just a boomer thing. I wonder what that was. Was it a lead paint? Or was it just a lead-laced water that they were drinking? Either way, it's lead. But where specifically? No one knows. Try and learn Arabic for a bit. You bought some flashcards. My best friend's from Yemen, so I figured give it a shot. It is Harley's I talked to St. Wayne before his untimely passing. Yeah. It's a boomer thing. The boomers have lead in them, and we have microplastics. And I'm pretty sure the microplastics are doing probably not the same things that lead is doing, but probably very negative things, like lead. I'm sure that's very great. You wanna know a crazy weird thing that I also discovered, apparently, is that there's literally, like, glitter shit pills, where you could just basically have, like, glitter microplastics in your body that are sold because, that's just 100% a good idea. Like, because why not? There's shit gold pills. Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? Here, I found it. I found the thing I'm talking about. I actually like this YouTuber, or I guess YouTube short guy, Dr. Cardon.
Let your poop shine like a unicorn. Turn your toilet visit into a sparkling party.
Like, why in the fuck was that, like, emote there, bro? That weird-ass little shit emoji, dude. That was so fucking creepy.
Literally. Nobody wants their shit to glimmer as much as I do, but bedazzling your bowels is not a good idea. Consuming glitter poop pills is the human version of turning your colon into a Jackson Pollock painting. Although scientific literature has yet to address the phenomena of sparkly poop, for obvious reasons, no one would be stupid enough to turn the contents of their derriere into a kindergarten art project. Glitter is non-toxic, but non-toxic and edible aren't the same things. It's not a food product. It won't kill you, but casually snacking on it to produce a turd worthy of Tinkerbell might affect the function of your bowels. I know the allure of pooping like a unicorn may be too hard to resist, but creating a party in your toilet bowl is dangerous. Not least because it might cause an irritation of the colon, particularly if you have IBS, but crucially it might prevent you from noticing blood or mucus in your stool. Fancy feces is not a good aesthetic to aim for. Tough shit.
Fancy feces, dude, his puns, bro. And he does it so casually, I love it. Dude, that guy's legitimately pretty good. I really like his content. My sister ate a bottle of glitter when she was 3. Our tiny family had good last 3 years. Well, she got an early dose of all those microplastics. Oh my god. Dude, I imagine the toilet was probably glittering for weeks. Oh, dude, I mean... Oh, please. There's biodegradable glitter. I mean, that at least I could see being maybe relatively fine, but, like, not toxic glitters and shit like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely certain things I just wouldn't want not 100% be just putting in my body, even though I could, technically. It's like, yeah, because, why not? It's such a good idea. Let's see, no one of his. Here, let me find one that's got pretty decent views. Yeah, this one has a cocaine on it. Doctors reacted to carnivore trolling at a kid's hospital. Oh boy.
hospital in Austin, Texas. We're going to see what they serve in the cafeteria. Pretty sure they don't care what they feed kids either. We got french fries and chicken tenders, banana cake with 409 calories, Reese's peanut butter cups, flaming hot Cheetos. We should treat our children better.
You just watched one of the worst videos of 2022. The absolute last thing a parent cares about when their child is sick or facing a terminal illness is their calorie count, whether the food is processed or whether there's any artificial sweetener in their drink. The cafeteria in a children's hospital isn't usually for the kids. Some get fed through a drip, some get fed through a tube in their nose or in their stomach. Pediatric patients often have specific menus and prescribed diets for their nutritional requirements and medical conditions, inflammatory bowel disease, post-surgery, cancer. Children tend not to enjoy ox testicles. Well done for getting through your 6-hour surgery, Henry. Here's some bone broth and cow intestines to celebrate.
Oh yeah, so delicious. Here, let's have some nice, like, fire roasted yak meat on top of that while we're at it. It's like, we need to treat our children better. Look at all these awesome things that kids are getting in the hospital. It's like, and that's just for the ones that are just like, you know, that can eat those foods. Like, he was also mentioning, you know, the kids that can't, you know, and it's like, yeah, I imagine it's a lot more complex than that weird dork, you know, would be, you know, led on to believe, obviously. Which is, again, why I like Dr. Karan. You know, I like his little videos, because they're nice little fun little, short little informational bursts of cool stuff, on top of being a little humorous. I think it does, like, more full-length content as well. I think he has, like, straight-up videos, too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does. My friend has to feed his daughter for an abdominal drip. Oh. Or abdominal tap. Yeah, really, she's really, ugh. Yeah. Which is why, you know, again, I'm pretty sure, like, and I'm pretty sure your friend is not exactly thinking about the calorie count, like, you know, like that weird little dude in the videos, you know, saying, like, you know, because, you know, Karan was saying, like, yeah, there's a lot different, depending on the needs of the patient, you know, there's going to be different ways that, you know, someone's going to get fed. Oh, shit, his wife, kids leaving some out. Should steal his tires and dog should be on him. My wife was deeply disappointed in me because we ended up in a pay-it-forward drive-through chain, and I immediately accepted a free meal, broke the chain, and drove away without shame. I'm always surprised that she was surprised. I'm not participating in performative peer pressure charity, especially when the charity involves paying for some random person's drive-through order. I think it's more animal to graciously accept a gift. What? Saying to everyone behind you from getting roped into this man. What? What? Is current goal is getting the fuck out of Ohio and moving back to Oregon. Oh man, that is even worse. Yeah. Well, I would hope so. And, yeah, here, hold on. I want to kind of pop this up, because this is a little treat. This is a treat. It's like my wife's basically disappointed in me in my behavior, because, you know, it's like a pay for... So, basically, a fast food chain, and you pay, you know, what, after you pick up your food? So, it's like all in one drive-through. So, it's like your order comes up, and then you pay, and then, you know, it's like you're paying for it and shit. And it's just like, what? It's like, oh, well, guess what? It's actually a free meal, so I'm not gonna, you know, pay for it, or, you know, partake in your charity or some shit. It's like, dude, what the fuck? From what I gather, pay for drive-thrus means paying for the next person's order, so it's like, being nice, fuck that. Oh, that's what they are? I haven't even heard of those before. But, yeah, like, I mean, it's like, especially for someone who claims to be a Christian, that is, like, what? It's like, oh, so Christian of you, you scummy little fucking parasitical rat. house for lovers? Oh. 2 hours ago, watched 5 inmates flee in a stolen vehicle after escaping Missouri jail. What? Yo.
The St. Francis County Sheriff's Office shows the moment 5 inmates hit the road after making an escape Tuesday night. 2 of them can be seen rolling under the exit gate in the parking lot of the Centene Corporation.
Oh, shit.
Industrial Park around 7. Moments later, they pulled to the gate in a stolen dark gray 2009 Scion. 3 others hop in.
5 people.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god!
Crazy, and it's happened a couple times before.
Michelle Beasley.
Wait, this has happened before? Wait, people have broken out of this prison before. Dude, what type of fucking security shit did they got going on at this prison?
Next to the jail.
The street was lined with cops. I didn't know. I thought maybe there was an accident or something. I didn't really know what was going on. I was more concerned about my daughter's safety coming home from her friend's house.
Chief Deputy Gregory Armstrong believes the inmates accessed the detention center's roof through a plumbing chase, a section of a building that houses pipes and vents. Tucker, McShawn, and Sebastian were being housed in the jail after allegedly committing offenses at the Sex Offender Rehabilitation and Treatment Services in Farmington. McShawn is classified as a sexual predator.
Well, that's not good. Well, knowing these little tidbit of informational facts, it's like, yeah, you should probably capture these guys, for sure. Yeah, they probably should, definitely be taken back. Yeah. I still find it funny, but yeah, alright, after the laughs and the goofs, go get him. You stupid, incompetent fucking pigs. It's like, how dumb are you for y'all to just, apparently let that happen a bunch of times? It's just like, I wonder what their offenses were. Well, at least, for 3 of the 5, they're registered sex offenders. At least 3 of the 5. I don't know about the other 2, but, at least, for 3 of them, that's what it sounded like. I mean, the other 2, I don't know what their shit was, but just knowing that 3 of them, have that shit going on, it's like, yeah, that's enough to just be like, eh. Not good enough. Well, I mean, I don't know all the specifics. I mean, it was literally just a little news blurb. Use that term for people that got caught taking a piss in public. Yeah, true. So, yeah, honestly, all in all, I mean, I don't know. But, and a kid walked by. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% too sure about, what the specifics of their charges are, but, I mean, it's, you probably don't want to try to escape, outright, obviously, you don't want to be in jail, especially if you're not rightfully in there, but escaping doesn't exactly make it better for yourself, you know what I mean? But, either way, I still thought it was funny. It's like they're so, apparently the pigs are so incompetent at that jail to where, if you heard it there for a second, apparently that's happened a bunch of other times in the past where people have apparently escaped out of that fucking place. And they're trying to be like, oh, well, it was for, the pipes and some ventilation systems and stuff like that. And it's just like, are you sure it's just because, the security and the guards there are just incompetently dumb? Well, it could if you never get caught again after escaping. But then you're going to be wanted, and, I mean, with technology today, I mean, it's going to be hard to, hide yourself and shit, unless you're, you really mind your P's and Q's and shit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you could. But chances are they're not going to really have that many connections, outside of town, you know what I mean? I don't think they really thought much outside of getting the fuck out. Beyond that, I don't really know if they thought about it that much. Probably not. Unless there's some super fugitive ex-CIA operative. Yeah. Or committed, like, a bunch of murders or shit like that. Look at Game Vignar Enforcement stepped on a watch. I mean, we gotta have to make sure that he's at least, you know, contained and stuff like that. Dude, Pomelo State Armory is reproducing an STG-40. Oh my god. Oh. 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 Oh, look at that. Oh my god.
Field moniker.
Oh, it is by PS. Okay, you know, all right. I actually have that as a tab on my Chrome, dude. Dude, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. What? What? Dude, I've like every like person that is just like into historical guns and shit, just like basically immediately just creamed their pants just seeing that right there. Cause oh my god. How much is it? I want to see. I must know. Where's that tab? There it is. Yeah. Metal State Armor. Yeah, come on. Pop up, load, load. Yeah. Menu. Come on. Come on. There we go. This? Would it be in here? Where would it be? Oh, you know what? I'll just look it up on this. I mean, well, why am I looking at the menu when I could just literally look it up here? STG-44. Yeah. Oh, they do, but they're all out of stock right now. Oh my god. They just released it and they had a few that were available, but then they... And they also have a 22 caliber version of these. I know those are actually pretty common, but... Oh. Ah! I want one! I want one. That and an MP40. So... Jesus. Is an STG-44 full-out weapon? Well, this is something that Pomelo State put out. So this is actually, I mean, so the one that they have would actually probably be semi-automatic. But nonetheless, and yes, the MP40 is also a fully automatic weapon. But you can also get that, you know, in a semi-auto form. But I think for historical firearms and shit like that, well, I mean, the PSA STG would actually not be a historic firearm, but at least for historic pieces, you can have those. Because I think there'd be like a federal tax exemption, yeah, for it being like a historic piece. Dude, holy shit, dude. How much would one of these be going for right now? Probably, like, I don't even want to know, honestly, now that I think about it. The Hill and Mac Gun works for a while, and PSA is on board to bring it to finish line. Reproduction is part of PSA's new quote Battlefield line of retro-inspired. These few modern touches, such as the new magazine pattern, and tweaked the gas system to help make the gun more shootable, but the look and the feel is faithful to the original. Oh! Oh. I'd love to have a Gatlin, like a Civil War era. Like, where you have to, like, feed them in on, like, some, like, little stripper clip thing, and then just, like... like one of those fucking things. One of those little straight up crankers. I'll admit, that is such a unique, weapon though. I mean, it's not technically a machine gun because it's technically just literally like 8 to like 12, I think, or something like that. Like guns technically, they're all just like, interchanging and like, cycling through as, each bullet's being loaded into the car, into the receiver of them. I feel like you could have some fun with that. Oh, well, yeah. Like any boomstick you'd have fun with. Because they're fun. Well, this is some shitty stats about Alabama. Only 10% of Alabama inmates granted parole in 2022, a record low. With 90% being rejected during the 2022 fiscal year. Wow. Good job, Alabama. You're totally nailing it there. Nailing it. You sleepy little boy. Thinks parole should be abolished. That's just beyond dumb. I mean, that straight up is like beyond dumb as hell. Do crime conservatives I am. Because, things like crimes of passions or like unjust crimes and shit like that, don't exist at all. It's like, nope, even if it's unjust and you're not in there for any real good reason at all, it's like you deserve to serve time anyway, fuck you. You did it, you're guilty by proxy. At least in my mind, now that you're in there. He's just a little sleepy boy over there. Ooh, little goof. Which one do you think he's going? Because he got saved as a teenager. Oh my god. I got saved once, so that means everything else about my life is shit. Don't matter. Because I could literally do anything and everything, and it's all fine. So I could be a fucking rapacious, like abhorrent bastard to everyone. And that's honestly, like, one of the bigger reasons why, fucking thing. Shit like that. Where it's just like, yeah, I got saved, so I'm going to go to heaven no matter what I do. So, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want, basically be a rapacious asshole. And essentially, at least within the law of society, just get away with whatever I want. So, like, if I want to be a, like, sexual assaulting, like, murderous shitbag, then I could do that, because I've been saved once. You little goof. Look at you. You're ridiculous. You're just a little ridiculous, boy. She actually told me that while she was they have a right to not believe. But at least she's, you know, sounding like she's pretty awesome. Yeah. Because at the very least, she, at least, you know, is generally kind of more of a good person. And at least, you know, is empathetic and at least has, you know, like a sense of caring for your fellow man and shit. So there's at least, you know, like, I mean, honestly, like, at the end of the day, if, like, people at least got that going on and shit, I mean, you know, what they really believe in, and, you know, it doesn't really matter that much to me. Because it's just like, you know, as long as there's at least, you know, some basic respect and shit, you know, for other people, it's, like, for the most part, you know, especially at that point, pretty much get along just fine. Especially considering how much of an easygoing person I tend to be. This is definitely a good idea based on beliefs about LGBT people. Well, to him it would be. Because in his mind, he could basically use that as a way to just, like, you know, demonize and, you know, incite more death threats and violence against queer people and shit. Yeah, he would basically turn into a, like, a boomer version of Steven Anderson. Which I wonder what that pawn scum motherfucker's been doing lately, honestly. I haven't heard that guy in a while. I'm sure basically the same stupid fucking abhorrent fucking shtick that he's always been doing. His little tail's all just like flopped around. He's almost in a perfect little ball. He's met John Haggard and Joel. Yeah, oh my god. So he's learning from the best, at least. I mean, it sounds like that is definitely something he's just gonna do. Because, I mean, in a way, he's, you know, using that as a ability to just, like... I mean, the only reason why he would basically be meeting these type of fucking scumbags and these, you know, abhorrent degenerates and shit is basically if there's, like, an actual incentive, you know, to try to get into that line of work. And frankly, I know that motherfucker really deep down inside don't believe in shit, especially considering that he's, you know, meeting with a lot of these fucking charlatanary, you know, grifting con men. He just wants to join in the ranks. I like how his cheek is all smushed. Cute little goof. Cute to get Alabama. But for real. It will definitely be very fucking liberating once you get out of that fucking shithole state. Gonna plan a Vegas trip. I mean, I know I want to at least, you know, make a Vegas trip at some point, but if, I know if, like, TJ actually solidifies a date for that, I'm definitely going to go Vegas around that point. But if there's at least, you know, a trip planned around ahead of time, you know, for that type of stuff, then fuck it. So I definitely want to go to Vegas at some point, especially, you know, to partake at least in a little bit of gambling. Maybe check out some shows and other shit. Oh, he's having a little dream. It's getting all twitchy. Little goof. Gambling's illegal here. Lame. Like, it's so legal here that we have a state lottery. Like, it's legal here. Like, 100. Which honestly is a good thing, in my mind. Because it does help with, you know, with different funding for the state. Which honestly, like, weird. Maybe Alabama would actually probably benefit for something like that. It's like maybe having like a, you know, state lottery system or some shit would actually probably help with, like, you know, building up like infrastructure or some shit like that. 40 ounce, usually if you caught if one on you, you get a fine. That is just so stupid. Alabama is just a fucking backwards ass state. I mean, it's not the only one that is, but it's one of many. Here. Two interesting little things I could find out too, yeah. Another horrifying Tesla disaster. Oh my god. Wow. Is this like example 8,226 about why Tesla suck? Because frankly, I am not shocked. It's like, wow, another disaster and another accident that happened because of a fucking Tesla. Who would have thunk? Who could have seen that coming? I didn't even know beers came in 40 ounces till a couple years ago. I went to Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, just like this sad little virtue of just that little tidbit of enlightenment, as much as it really shouldn't be, it's kind of a culture shock. It's a culture shock for anyone that, like, you know, goes to that fucking state, and it's a culture shock for anyone that leaves that state.
And I imagine a lot of you have already seen it, but a couple of days ago, Ken Klippenstein over here obtained surveillance footage of Tesla's self-driving systems working about as expected. Here, we'll just play the video clip, okay? Quality security camera footage, by the way. So rarely do we get to enjoy stuff like this.
This is actually pretty decent quality.
Cars doing car stuff. It's this one, isn't it? Nope. It's gonna be this. Which one? Which one? You'll know it's the. There we go.
Oh, there. Oh, you know what? I already see it. Oh, bonk. Yep. There it is. Wow, dude, that Tesla literally turned into another lane and stopped like it was about to turn on an intersection or something. And now there's going to be a gigantic pile up. Oh my fucking god. Well, this is predictable. Oh my god.
Ooh, look at that one. That one got
whoa.
Knocked up against the wall right there. So you can see it right here. See that car coming in? While driving along a completely unimpeded road, I mean, except for the cars in front of it, I mean, it's driving along normally, right here, it decides to brake, brake, and then turn left.
And then...
thus setting off the cascade.
Oh my god, I just noticed, too, that the Tesla tried to go in reverse for a second, as, like, it got bonked into... Oh my god. Well, wow. And now there's just like an insane, like, fucking, it's just like traffic log now. Oh my lord. Now look at all this traffic because of the fucking Tesla. Oh my god. Like, are we fucking kidding me? Are we serious?
Tesla auto drive thing.
Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Every time I see these fucking things, like these goddamn Teslas, I have a strong urge to destroy it. Like, seriously, just like start like, and just start smashing it with a bat. And like, cause just oh my god, they're so annoying. Like, anyone who drives these goddamn things are so fucking ridiculous and annoying to me. Because they're just, like, always, like, either some, like, weird little, like, middle-aged wine mom type that's, like, gotta take Aiden to the soccer game, or just some weird, nerdy little lib type. And it's just, like, it's, like, both anger me in different ways. And knowing that these are basically the predominant users of these fucking things around here drives me up the goddamn fucking wall.
You in an accident, and then having to explain to all of the furious people behind you that it was not your fault, you know, I mean, aside from...
I mean, no, it was, because you bought and owned the fucking thing. Like, I mean, I hate these, like, automated things right now and shit, because I guarantee these fucking Tesla drivers are all gonna be like, what, me? No, it's not my fault, it was the Tesla thing. Lord, you know, God Emperor Elon basically, you know, just kind of had a little slip up is all, bruh.
Begin with. This never would have happened if there was a single lane tunnel underneath this one, Bosch. Imagine when this happens in the tunnels, yeah, they take a right into a wall and spin out at 50 miles an hour. Phenomenal stuff. Guys, sorry, it's a Tesla. Guys. Any deaths? No deaths. 9 injured people, including a 2-year-old child, but no deaths. Apparently this happened right after Musk announced the self-driving feature. The accident itself was from November 24th, 2022, so we only see the footage now. This is obviously a pretty severe indictment. Wait, not a good day for Teslas? Here's a road rager driving a Model X in Glendale? Wait, what? What does this have to do with Tesla, though? He attacked a car with a pipe.
The attacked car by garbage incident. It appears to be linked to other incidents. Is this guy like is he like a anti-Tesla vigilante?
Okay.
Start smacking up? Okay.
I don't know, it has to do with Tesla, but...
I mean, it's someone who shares my sentiment.
Okay. Some kid got seriously injured. Was the injury serious? This is the actual article from The Intercept. Woo!
Damn, what the fuck happened to that car? Jesus!
Woo! Look at that. Oh my...
Literally because of a goddamn Tesla. Like, good lord.
Tesla really is redefining the future of automation. Where we're going, we won't need roads. I know that in the footage we saw, it looked like they were going all slow, but, you know, keep in mind surveillance camera, FOV, perspective, blah, blah.
The sun started taking it back in my car, I'd be reaching for a boomstick. Well, knowing that someone who would be in a Tesla doing that, I guarantee they are going to be like, ew, icky, I don't want that. Yeah, so chances are probably not. I think you'd be fine.
To do that to the car. Speeds are taking place here. Yep, there it goes. Speed is happening. Musk has said Tesla's problematic autopilot features are really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money or worth basically zero. Interesting. Yeah, see, November 23rd.
I feel like there's a little bit more than that, because there's also been times where these things spontaneously combust into flames and shit, because, like, the battery overheats or whatever the fuck. Like, the Teslas are just, like, rife with fucking problems, because, like, Elon basically purposely undercuts and skirts a lot of the fucking shit, so he could just, like, make as many of these things for cheap, and basically, you know, put out, like, a fake, you know, like, a very faulty-ass, you know, vehicle and shit. Like, and honestly, like, a lot of other car companies have been starting to, you know, roll out EVs and shit, and they've been doing a lot more better, you know, about this type of stuff in comparison to Tesla now at this point.
Announcing Tesla full self-driving beta.
So you fucking fix the bug. Well, yeah, well, what do you expect from a robber baron, Thomas Edison, like, fucking cretin like Musk? Like, you know, for that, it's, we brush it under the rug and hope people shut up enough about it to where we could just kind of keep things business as usual.
In North America who requested from the car screen, assuming you've bought this option. So, that's right. New beta self-driving programs can literally just be used on public roads by anyone.
Here, you want to be a beta Tesla driver on a public road and potentially cause, like, a fucking insane accident that is surprisingly had no one die in? Here you go. It's a buy and opt-in thing, but, you know, hey, you get to be one of the first few to try out this thing that could potentially kill a bunch of people, and at least severely injure a lot. Like, what a fucking... Oh, my...
Just like, yeah, dude, now with 40%...
It's like, when did, like, companies just start making everyone just, like, beta testers upon release? Like, I mean, or alpha testers? Like, I mean, what happened to having that before you send shit out on the final like, where'd that go? Like, yeah, we'll have, like, you know, basically, like, the beta, you know, testers make sure things are all good before we, you know, release the final product and shit. Like, video game developers used to have a fucking concept of shit. It's like, the fucking go. I mean, like, boo.
Go for it, says right here. I hadn't realized how much of a Wild West the self-driving vehicles business is. For example, there are no federal restrictions on the testing of autonomous vehicles on public roads.
I wonder why that has been put into place. Probably due to a lot of lobbying, maybe on Musk's part.
Literally any program for self-driving, just like, hey, you're on a Musk is coming out with his brand new program. He coded it himself. Legally, you could just throw that out there to all the Teslas. Yeah, dude, go for it. Fantastic stuff. Bosch, to be fair, humans.
But I don't think that's a program you develop rushed. Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with it. I'm not against the idea of self-driving and stuff like that. I'm against this, like the fucking capitalistic exploitation of skirting the edges and making fucking, like, fundamentally a dangerous and faulty product that is liable to kill people. Like, I mean, that's the problem. Like, if you know, these Teslas, or at least, you know, these, you know, just broadly self-automated vehicles just currently were, you know, being released and working fine, you know, then I wouldn't be having an issue with it. You know, like, but nonetheless, at least predominantly with Teslas, you know, there's a lot of issues of them right now. So I would not be wanting those, you know, just rushed out or just, like, you know, thrown out to the, you know, market willy-nilly and shit, you know, to be sold. It's like, maybe make sure that shit's, you know, finally tuned down, and make sure you have, like, maybe, like, some, you know, beta drivers, you know, to, like, you know, drive some vehicles in very select, you know, areas and shit, you know, so there can at least be some tests done, you know, like, I mean, just to make sure that things run functionally. Like, I mean, it's like the fuck.
Probably less likely to happen on that. No, not as far as I can see. The critical difference as well is that first of all, when humans crash due to their own error, they can be held accountable financially, legally, morally. Whereas if an algorithm crashes due to its failure, you're dealing with this black box of technology that can't be directly scrutinized. Now you have, if you wanted, like, hold Tesla legally accountable, you have a mountain of a case to make. It's not as directly perceived.
I mean, I'd say that it's tricky, but I'd still say that at least the person operating the fucking thing is liable, and the company for putting out a faulty fucking automated self-driving thing in the first place. You know, so really fundamentally it'd just be down to the company at fault. But yeah, I mean, it'd be a mountain case considering, like, how much, you know, the, you know, like, especially the automotive industry has fought tooth and nail when it comes to any regulations and shit. Like, I mean, especially when it came to things like seatbelts. Like, there was a time where, you know, when seatbelts were officially, like, you know, put as a federal law that needed to be a standard of regulation for vehicles, where people were literally straight up like, I ain't wearing these fuck seatbelts, I could do whatever I damn please, you know, it's my fuck vehicle, blah, blah, blah. Like, because there is so ingrained, you know, about this push about, like, oh, they're just trying to put more red tape around everything, and, you know, circumnavigate your freedom to drive and all this other shit. You know, so it's like, it's a major mountain of a thing because there's just so much propaganda, so much money fundamentally built into the whole thing.
Is that there will never be real, full autonomous driving on public roads, and in fact there shouldn't be. It is a complete technological dead end. But I'll get to that in just a second. The other thing I want to add to this is that this video is obviously very embarrassing for Tesla, which is why it was very funny that immediately after this video went viral, 181,000 likes, Ken Klippenstein got delisted from the user algorithm on Twitter. I tried this myself. When I searched Ken Klippenstein on my Twitter, I could see him because we're oomphies. When I tried it on another Twitter account, in which we're not, I got the bot bonanza here, you know, the pretenders. There were some other people who said that Ken Klippenstein's name showed up in a couple of those sites that check whether or not you've been shadow banned or delisted. The implication here is pretty obvious.
Basically, it's just shadow ban anyone that calls out the fucking corruption and the skirting of regulations, Which is also part of the reason why some people think that, oh, like, Teslas are great cars and great vehicles and shit, because so much of the actual problems always get pushed under the rug, are essentially either, like, shadow banned or paid to shut the fuck up. And basically, like, either bribed or, like, you know, just, like, forced corrosively, you know, to just be like, you're gonna shut the hell up about this. Because, you know, that's essentially part of, like, Elon's forte, is essentially to, you know, basically, you know, anything that, you know, critiques him or his, you know, projects and shit, you know, on any remote level needs to be buried and fucking essentially suppressed by any metric, including but not limited to things like blackmail or shadow banning and stuff like that.
Been shown that he will ban people on a whim or delist them or shadow ban them or whatever. He's made it very clear he has no problems at all with very partially using his moderation powers to his benefit. I'm guessing that that clip was just really embarrassing for them, and they delisted it and deprioritized it to limit the number of people who saw it. Can this be proven? No. It's entirely on Twitter. Is it something that he has both the means and motive to do? Yes, undeniably.
Which is why I think it's, you know, I think it's strongly, you know, pointed that that's what happened. Because this essentially literally is what happened.
Like this before? Yes, undeniably. So, that's all there is to say, really. I really do feel like self-driving is a complete dead end technologically. The reason for this being, like, there is... How do I put this? When stuff happens that leads to people getting harmed, when there's a mistake made, like a car crash or something, all of our systems are designed to deal with accountability on the level of the individual. Not only does this make sense to us, like, as a species, it's also what seems to work the best, because if any time something went wrong, you had to do this, like, gigantic systemic hunt, you know? That would be really difficult. Think of all the times there have been car recalls as a product of lawsuits because of, like, what was it? Was it Ford who had the rug under your feet would get caught under the brake pad and you couldn't brake all the way? It was Ford that had that, right?
I think so.
Was like a big...
I know there was like the Pinto too, where like Ford's known for a lot of these things, where like if there happened to be a wreck, or if, you know, something happened to smack into the back of it, because of the gas tank was literally like right below the trunk on the back of the fucking thing. Like, if, let's say, somebody else, you know, happened to crash into it, that could basically mean it would literally probably, like, combust in flames and blow up. And, it's like, yeah, that's probably a bad thing. You know, so, like, they had, like, you know, a major lawsuit about things like that, too. And also, I know Ford, GM, and a bunch of other automotive companies, you know, were hit with lawsuits about the whole seatbelt thing as well, I was talking about earlier. So, I mean, especially Ford. And Ford's known for a lot of lawsuits being hit, you know, at them, you know, over shit, because they like to skirt things, too. I don't know about as much now. I think they probably, quote, learned their lesson, I guess, you know, making a profit without having to, like, you know, be total scumfucks, because now you got Tesla to do it for them. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, it seems like, you know, at least historically, they've had a lot of, you know, lawsuits and shit about, you know, different problems with cars they've put out.
Was like a whole prolonged... Imagine having to go... Oh, that was Toyota. Okay, Ford did a different thing. That was Toyota. Okay, imagine having to go down that road every single time you have a weird self-driving car incident. Don't get me wrong, sometimes car crashes are a product of manufacturing defects, but with self-driving, it would literally always be, unless something happened on the road that was impossible to avoid. It's not very workable on a legal or moral level. Yeah, sorry, the Ford Pinto exploded if you rear-ended it. That was...
Yep.
Thing. That's right. The Prius would do a non-stop acceleration. Yeah. And these stuff get held to account, the lawsuits and the recalls, but it is a big process, isn't it? I mean, it takes a long time, it takes a lot of money. Imagine trying to do this for, like, an invisible algorithm that no person could reasonably... How would you even do that legally? For, like, a court case? How would you...
I mean, I definitely wouldn't know that, but I know this much, at least, like... I think a lot of the problems that he's kind of, you know, referring to is more or less the bureaucracy and the hold up, you know, especially with the money interests, you know, that you would be going after, which would be the automotive industry. So that's really like what he's talking about primarily is due to the backlog of that shit, which obviously, especially in the judicial system, is more bent towards their favor regardless, especially because of that. So it's like, how, it's like, yeah, how in the fuck do you really, go after such a big behemoth systemic thing? It is a lot more tougher and there is more of a process because of that shit. And it's also a major fat fucking money drain unless you have like a collection of lawsuits, to pile up, where there's a bunch of people that are able to kind of like pull together, to kind of make it a bigger case.
Oh yeah, here was the bug in the self-driving system. The problem is that at the end of the day, no computer algorithm is anywhere near as complicated as this. Not even remotely. Computers are good at some kinds of calculations, but we have not produced computers capable of doing the kind of intuiting that we can do. They're totally different systems. We are smart in ways computers are not. It's just a fact. Yeah, obviously, yet. Everything is yet.
I was just about to say that. I was like, you sure about that right now? Because, like, obviously, it's a fact. It's like, that's, like, starting to become more of a gray zone there, bro. Like, I'm not too sure about that one. I would definitely say yet, at least when it comes to, I guess, in totality. But in different elements and in different ways, there's definitely places where computers have definitely surpassed us. Especially when it comes to, like, memory and shit. Like, computers have insane, like, I mean, I guess it depends on the memory file sizes that it has and shit, like, for storage capacity, but a lot of them have some pretty huge storage capacities these days in comparison to, like, even fucking 10, 15 years ago.
Hold together a bunch of numbers and multiply them, blah-de-blah. But a computer is really bad at telling what a bee is, for example. Y'all seen that CGP Grey video on how learning algorithms function? Like, you train them on how to recognize what a bee is, and then it can't recognize an upside-down bee or a moving bee. It's like writing code. The systems that computers use to understand the world around them are just so different from ours. And I do not know if I would ever trust any machine learning algorithm to fully understand the complexities of the road. This is one of the reasons why a lot of self-driving car advocates will suggest that we need to make roads that are entirely designed for self-driving cars, with no human interaction at all. No crosswalks, no, like, like mixed areas or, like, alleyways where...
I mean, I was kind of being like, okay, it makes sense, have infrastructure and roads basically be predominant for, like, self-driving shit, but basically having, like, oh yeah, not having it, like, at least somewhat mixed or, like, pedestrian-friendly or all this, so it's just like, that's kind of a, what? I mean, I think there's at least definitely, I guess maybe in the short term, but that's just going to convolute more of the infrastructure, I think, to where it just makes things more backlogged to where it just would not really be good. And unless you're developing, like, totally new, like, neighborhoods or towns and shit like that, there isn't really a way to where you can make, like, an existing city like Portland, for example, and have roads and infrastructure like that on top of what's already here. Like, unless you just make it all underground or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be a way to do it. Make it like underground shit. But that wouldn't work for everything, though. So it's like some places, it wouldn't be able to have like underground, like infrastructure for things like that. Or at least, not everywhere. So I know for Portland for sure, it definitely wouldn't be everywhere because we have a fucking river split in the city. So I mean, even here, there, wouldn't 100% totally work. So, just it really all just kind of varies and depends depending on, like, especially the extensiveness of such a fucking project. I mean, it's just better to just, like, get more mixed infrastructure and more pedestrian-friendly infrastructure and, things like public transit and railroads and things. Like, that would probably be better, instead of just, like, hyper-focusing on self-driving shit. Obviously, that's important. I think, having more pedestrian public transit friendly infrastructure could actually make it a little bit more safer and more viable for self-driving vehicles, because there wouldn't be as much traffic on the roads to where they might be, predominantly active. Because I don't think people are going to necessarily, well, I guess maybe, I don't know, in the future probably, but not right now. You don't really necessarily see someone self-driving their Tesla out in the fucking foothills to go camping and shit, you know what I mean? They're taking their little van or their sedan or hatchback or a truck or some shit.
Of course, we already have a system for autonomously operated, completely pedestrian-free pathways for transportation, but, that's not futuristic enough. I'm reminded of this video that I saw while scrolling through Twitter the other day. Other people they already made the joke. It was, let me see if I can find that. It was a video on the back of a truck. And the joke was, wow, wonder how the Tesla self-driving feature will figure this one out. A camera on the front of the truck projects the image onto the back of the truck, so you can see whether it's clear to pass in front. How do you think Tesla would handle this one? How do you think Tesla could possibly handle any number of the innumerably complicated situations that might arise?
Honestly, I will say this is actually pretty cool, but even for me, I would be confused, because I want to kind of look at this and be like, okay, it's clear, and then have this urge and instinct to want to like, oh, well, nope, I can't, because that's a truck. It's like, I guess that's why that QR code thing is there, which at least, which also I'm sure, goes to the website where this guy had this thing set up. But I mean, like, if it wasn't for that, I would seriously start having a second guess me driving, like, because that is legitimately kind of confusing, but cool. But it would be confusing.
Do not have machine algorithms capable of handling complexities like this. We just don't. Some of the impressive machine learning algorithms we have available to the public these days are these chatbots. We did a whole thing on that romance AI chatbot thing the other day, And in that very advanced chatbot that people were falling in love with, they were having problems with the replica, that's called Replica. The replica girlfriends and boyfriends were randomly saying they wanted to rape the person who had the app. So these extremely advanced AI algorithms develop...
Huh? I'm not necessarily doubting that, but that just seems like, huh? My guess is that people took advantage of that and were like, how do we make this AI learn, basically the top G Bugatti, fucking, method of, dating and shit. And then fucking, obviously at that point, the AI eventually kind of caught up on that. It's like, oh no, oh boy. I see what went on there. I mean, at least right now, that's kind of the issue with AIs at this point, is that, I mean, anyone can kind of basically teach the damn things. I mean, that's kind of at least a little bit of the caveat with them, at least concurrently. Again, I feel like that is, I was about to say slowly but surely rapidly changing, but that's kind of an oxymoron. I mean, it's definitely, like, it seems kind of like on a slow trajectory, but honestly, all in all, it's kind of rapidly, changing in a sense. So, I mean, there will be a point pretty soon, I would say, that, that would, the idea that it could just, like, be learned, just basically having people teach it, will eventually not necessarily be the case, where it could just essentially self-learn even without someone interacting with it, because it's essentially seeking out shit on its own. So, and at that point, then things will, I feel like, be a lot more different with that. Hopefully.
We're just, through what they had learned by interacting with people, offering to rape the people they were talking to. Imagine if your Tesla tried to rape you. Honestly. It wasn't random, it was based off the interactions from other users. When I say random, I mean unprompted in the context of the current conversation. Obviously, learning AI algorithms would develop their behaviors based on those interactions. Same with self-driving. That's why we need to test them on public roads. The replica AI rapists? Yeah, true. Someone in chat said self-driving reduces the total number of accidents. Is this true? No reason to believe that it is. I don't think there's any data on that.
And also, all things considered, especially with, like, the self-driving of Teslas, I'm not willing to believe that.
identification to find his Tesla rotting. Oh, I think I saw this.
Rotting?
Your brand new Tesla Model S in a Turkish garage and leave it for 1 month. It starts rotting. What?
Yeah, dude, what the hell? Dude, yeah, like the seats are all jank and the fucking like steering wheel like got eaten away. What the hell? That's whack. It's about,
Starts rotting.
Guess.
Okay, I guess this video. I guess Elon is censoring this video.
I guess so.
I guess.
I mean, as soon as some of the details start showing, it's like censor it.
Prototype finding its way to Model S. This is from 2015. What is this? Wow, I hate this.
Vosh, your internet sucks. I thought mine sucked. Oh, wait. Oh, it's this thing. Wait, what the fuck is this? You got like a Dr. fucking Octopus tentacle going on here? What the hell is this? The fuck is that? What's it trying to do? It's trying to mate with the Tesla, bro. What the fuck?
Thanks.
What was that?
Okay, you start talking tentacles, I'm interested.
No, you're not. Not this.
Okay.
Not this one. This is like some weird robotic, like Dr. Octopus, like Robotnik, fucking weird ass looking like Robo cyborg shit. That it's like connecting to a Tesla.
Yeah, Doc Ock.
Because yeah, I'm not 100 about that. It looks like that's gonna do some seriously unsaid. Like that's like something I would see in like some like alien like experimentation room. Like one of the like fucking like arms that has like, you know, crazy like some crazy ass little like surgical tool comes out or something, you know, for whichever one they need in the given moment. Like, oh my god, I don't want that. And why in the fuck did he say he was interested? I don't want to know. Oh my god. Okay, that was an interjection I'm now just starting to process. I don't know if I want to find out why he did. I really tried. Yeah, I don't want to find out about that. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. As far as I'm concerned, now I've heard nothing. That's fast. What is with this stupid fucking meme? Dude, it keeps popping up everywhere. I'm starting to get annoying. It's like, what in the fuck? You're alive. I would assume you were. Unless it was something else. I smell some food. What the what the hell's been cooked up? You almost passed. Oh, you almost. Oh, you. Wait, passed on to what? To the next realm? Is that what was going on? You're just about to pass towards the next realm of what, the Dreamlands. Cancel those offers. The worst advice while LARPing as if they're. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be a gem, isn't it? I want to see about spoiling myself with the comments. Yeah, you know what? Oh boy. I feel like there's definitely some gems. Faux show.
So I take it that Candace Owens isn't necessarily the best person to confide in if you're going through a difficult time. And I say this because, well, listen for yourself.
Do not consider yourselves wrong for going to therapy. I once went to therapy. I had to try it out because my parents were getting divorced and I was dragged into it. I hated it. It wasn't for me.
Okay, so she's like, I had to go to it. I hate it, but don't feel wrong for going to it because sometimes it might be forced to do it.
People, and I do suppose that some people are coming out and being better people, but on the whole, as we move toward this society that believes that feelings trump facts, the facts don't matter, that the feelings are so important that we have to ignore the facts, we have to assume that the majority of the therapy sessions that are happening are...
I'm pretty sure the ones who just literally want nothing but emotion over facts are you. And people like you, Candace. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're like, it's you and your ilk that are the ones who believe in a fucking god and shit, and believe in, like, you know, having, like, you know, biblical little churchly tidings and all this other shit, and having, like, a theocratic society, and would think vaccines aren't real, and, you know, think that, like, you know, like, you know, the idea of, like, transgenderism and shit doesn't exist, and it's just, like, some crazy foo-foo shit. It's like, you're the motherfuckers that, you know, use emotion to trump facts. Like, what the fuck you talking about?
That, right? That you have people sitting in a chair telling people that their feelings are all that matter. That no matter what they do in this world, it's perfectly okay because of some tragedy or upset that they suffer when they were 5 years old. And what has it produced? Well, it's produced a society of men like Prince Harry and women like Adele who overshare, who tell us way too much. And it's not a society that I want to live in. I want to live in a society like the one that my grandfather lived in. And I tell people this all the time.
What, where you were segregated and where black people had less rights? Are you know what that is implying there, right? Like, what? I want to live in society, like, in the one, like, my grandfather grew up in. It's like, what, where you were segregated and Jim Crow laws were used to intimidate you and shit like that? Like, what? And also this idea that, like, oh, you know, we share too much. It's, like, based on fucking what? Like, I mean, huh? Like, it's totally fine to show emotion or to, you know, like, or to say that, you know, they matter, or, like, when it comes to emotions or the feelings and stuff, that they matter and shit. Because, yeah, that does. And you can say that matters and also believe in facts at the same time. Because, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you bottle up your fucking feelings and just, like, you know, just let it all, like, you know, just be repressed and just shoved in the background, then that isn't exactly, you know, good for one's mental health. Like, it's just been proven that, like, you know, at least letting it out and not bottling it up is more healthily, you know, a better way of dealing with, so, like, when it comes to dealing with issues or, like, trauma or, you know, your general emotions.
Cry a day in his life, even when I knew he was positively destroyed and heartbroken when we lost my grandmother, surprisingly, right? A woman that he was married to from the time that he was 17, the woman that he dedicated his entire life to and built his entire life around. My grandfather did not cry at her funeral. He was one of those men that believed.
He was one of those men that just did not shed a single tear. It had no emotion. It was just some weird cold automaton.
Going through, you let it burn in your chest, right? And a lot of men don't like that now. Men don't know. Men need to be vulnerable. You actually don't need to be vulnerable in public. You don't need to be vulnerable in public. We need to see...
Says fucking who? You dumb cunt? Like, it's totally fine for men to be vulnerable at times and shit. There's nothing wrong with that. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with being stoic or whatever the fuck either. Like, it's fine to be both. You know that? You know that, right, bitch? Like, because I definitely have shown plenty of times, you know, of emotion, and at the same time, plenty of times when I've been stoic. And not having emotions, you know, getting away, and all this other fucking horse shit that you're fucking spewing out of your fucking mouth. Like, give me a break, you goddamn son of a bitch.
Strength everywhere. Strong women and strong men. And of course, we all assume that you have moments of vulnerability. We all do. All I'm saying is that we don't want to hear about it. Stop. Button it up. Let it burn in your chest. And that's all I have to
So let it burn in your chest, so then it can just like pop off into like, you know, a crazy manic episode, and you potentially take that out on other people because no one wants to fucking hear it until it's too late, I guess. You know, that's okay. Never mind the fact that, you know, I literally just don't want to hear anything about like distress or nothing like that. I just want to, you know, make sure that you stuff in the mouse. Like, just go pull yourself by the bootstraps, let it burn inside of you until you want to like cause like some crazy ass harm or some shit or whatever the fuck. Yeah, great idea, you dumb, abhorrent, fucking wretched cunt.
Okay, Boomer. I don't know what else to say. That is a very Boomer-esque rant, and I'm not necessarily referring to the Boomer generation, but the Boomer mentality, where you have to button yourself up and be proper and never show your emotions for reasons. It doesn't make sense why she's coming to that conclusion. She didn't adequately argue why it's intrinsically more valuable for us to all hide our emotions. I mean, that seems pretty unhealthy, and we'll get to what the experts say in a moment. But I just first have to address the irony that flew right over her head. She said this, quote, "We're moving towards a society that believes that feelings trump facts. The facts don't matter, that the feelings are so important that we have to ignore the facts." Yeah, I agree, Candace. The problem is that you're part of the problem and you don't realize that you're the worst messenger possible.
No shit.
You are the individual who operates almost exclusively on vibes. When was the last time we actually saw a fact-based analysis from Candace Owens? I mean, even if she took a data set and completely misconstrued the meaning of it and the findings from a particular study, when does she even pretend to be operating in facts? This is the same individual who says she doesn't believe in climate change. She also said that atheists don't exist. That's interesting, right?
I guess I don't exist. I'm just a figment of her imagination.
She also claimed that Bob Saget died from the COVID vaccine. On top of that, I wrote them down.
Huh?
Trump won the 2020 election. It was stolen from him. She also hilariously said that doctors intentionally killed people in hospitals during COVID to fluff up the numbers. And during that same rant, she said that the use of ventilators is questionable for people who need oxygen. So she's...
The literal use of those things helps people get oxygen. Oh my god. She needs to, like... just jail. Can she just, like, be in a jail, like, permanently?
She's really reaching,
like, disinformational
and
malpractice.
she's trying to make sure that everyone knows that her feelings, that is absolutely superior to facts. On top of that, she claimed that Kanye West is not anti-Semitic. To be fair, though, that was before he did the I Love Hitler rant. She also said that gay...
But I guarantee you she still believes that.
Teachers were predators if they didn't hide their identities from students. I mean, these are all things that she said that I've talked about on my...
So would teachers who are straight that are showing their identity of being straight also be subjected to being a predator? Oh wait, I guess not, because that's totally fine and that's okay. You can, you know, show the fact that you're a straight married couple and stuff as a man and a woman. But no, you can't do that if you're gay or trans or anything else in between.
Who literally just concocts things and bases her political analysis off of her feelings. You're not the right person, Candace, to be making that claim. Now, she adds, we have to assume a majority of the therapy sessions happening are reflecting of, well, this idea that the therapist is just validating all of the emotions and putting emotions and feelings above facts. And Dr. Candace Owens knows this because she took Psych 101 and got a B-. Therefore, she is qualified to say not only what is happening in these closed-door sessions between therapists and their patients, but she's able to basically make this claim that therapists aren't treating their patients appropriately. These licensed, educated therapists, they're not doing it to Candace Owens' liking. Is that so, Candace? Well,
because she's so 100% an absolute expert in the field.
Why don't you join the field? Go get a f***ing degree, get your license, and practice therapy, and we'll see how well your patients fare compared to just the average therapist, because odds are
she won't even have any patients. She'll have like 2, and then like tell everyone how much she fucking sucks, and that would basically be it. That would basically be her like therapy career in a nutshell.
Some of them would be much worse.
It's just how much of a fucking cretin.
Now, she says, I never saw my grandfather cry a day in his life, even at his wife's funeral. That just made me really sad. That made me really sad. First of all, it doesn't matter if your grandfather cries or doesn't cry. It doesn't matter if human beings cry or don't cry in public. Every single human being cries. I mean, I don't get why there's some people who just want others to deny human nature. Evangelicals have this problem where, you should...
I mean, because they just basically broadly think that human nature is a sin. I mean, it really just comes down to that. Like, these religious extremists and these fascists basically just think that innate human nature is a sin, and there needs to be an order and a control over it, and it needs to be, set in a very specific hierarchical way. And there can't be anything else in between that shit. Because if so, then it's just basically deemed as degenerate fucking primal nature, taking over and degenerating the modern civil society that, they're trying to prop up. That's like, because that's just what it really all just truly boils down to, is just like this innate idea that like human nature is wrong and we need to like somehow suppress that. Which is just fucking insanely psychopathic. Like, I mean, it's like I can't even fathom that, but yet these are the motherfuckers I want to push it and advocate it.
Feelings. If you're gay, hide that. No sex until marriage, but that's part of nature. These are things that are natural. It's not unnatural to express emotions. So I just don't understand why it's better if you don't cry, if you hide your emotions. I mean, she hasn't, I think, sufficiently demonstrated the case there. She claims that it makes you...
Because if they said the quiet part loud, like I was talking about, then no one would ever fucking... there would still be people believing that shit, but there wouldn't be nowhere near as many people buying the bullshit.
Actually appear more tougher, but the appearance of toughness or masculinity or strength doesn't really matter, because it doesn't negate from the fact that every single human being on this planet has at one point cried. That's our first fucking thing that happens when we come into this world. We cry. So I just don't get why you're somehow inferior or a weaker person if you cry. And I say that as someone who... I also try to withhold my emotions. I mean, for one, I'm not necessarily the most emotional person in the world, but I subconsciously, try to withhold my feelings whenever I feel the urge to cry. And I don't know why I do that. It doesn't make me a better person if I don't cry in front of someone. It's just, I think that these things have been embedded in us from society where, men aren't supposed to show emotions. And
yeah, basically.
If they are, they're perceived to be...
I'm kind of the same way. I'm not the most emotional person ever, but, like, at least when it comes to maybe, like, potentially, like, crying or some shit like that, I mean, it would basically, there would be times where I'm like, alright, hold it back. But then, at other times, I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Well, a lot of it, just kind of boils down to the innate, essential, like, embedding of, like, men don't cry and this and that. Gotta be stoic and tough. Which, again, in a way, it's, like, ain't bad, but, it's also, but what also isn't bad is crying. And, and feeling, like, emotions of sadness and shit, and grief, and all, and all those other things in between.
Or weak, and even women now, they have to be overly strong to compensate for the patriarchal norms, and they have to withhold their emotions. Folks, at the end of the day, we're all people. We have emotions, we have feelings, we all shit. I just don't get why she thinks it's virtuous to suppress these emotions. Her grandfather is still the same person even if she did see him cry. It doesn't make him inherently better or worse if she does or doesn't see him cry. And it's bizarre to me that she thinks that would somehow, I guess, change her perception of her grandfather. But let's get to the experts, because Candace Owens, as she stated in that clip, cares very much about facts. So what do the experts say? Well, Insider's Lindsay Dodgson spoke to one expert, a psychologist, about this, and she was very clear. Quote, if you put a lid on a boiling pot, eventually the contents will rise to the top and spill over. Human emotions are no different. If we push our feelings down and try to avoid them, eventually they will explode out more fiercely than before. This is one main reason people sometimes refuse to tap into their feelings, according to psychologist Perpetua Neo. She told Insider people can be over-rational because they think the alternative is someone who cries all the time, is incredibly angry and erratic, and can't control themselves. When you ask somebody, why can't you trust your feelings, they'll tell you, because last time I lost my temper, everything went to pot, Neo said. Actually, it's this whole vicious cycle that happens when we oppress our feelings. If we bottle things up, they don't just go away. Emotions will stay down until we physically can't contain them anymore. Then they'll burst out fiercer than before. And it won't just be that one feeling. It will be everything else that's been thrown on top of it since. For some people, it can be years or even decades or repressed experiences. When it explodes, you do things you regret, said Neo. You spend too much money on things you don't like. You sleep with the wrong people you hate. Things like that. And afterwards, you say it was your emotions that made you do it. And so Dr. Neo argues that trying to understand your emotions and grapple with them rather than trying to run away with them or suppress them leads to much better mental health outcomes.
No shit. I mean, it's just, because like I said from earlier, these type of things basically been proven that, like, bottling your shit up does not exactly do does anything to benefit one's mental health. Because fundamentally it ends up just being something that, that ends up being very disastrous, in a way that, I mean, whether it's just like, something more benign, like, just destroying shit, or, but it could be as very severe and disastrous as, either self-harm or, like, harming others and shit. I mean, this is the main reason why, like, it's a part of just, like I said, the whole root of, like, oh, like, human nature is just, like, inherently wrong. And there needs to be, like, some grain of civility and stoicism and shit, uphold it. Anyone who, is not tough enough, to just, like, suck it up, and breaks out of that mold is just weak and inferior. And if anything, at that point, it's beneficial to just, weed them away from society and making them outcasts at that point, because of that. Like, it's just fundamentally, like, honestly, like, kind of a fascistic culture, where there's just a very strong sense of hierarchical order that needs to be upheld, to essentially be more superior in society because you got your shit together. Even though deep down inside you're probably, like, on the verge of, like, exploding into a fucking 1,000 pieces or something,
As somebody who took Psych 101 myself and passed with an A, I guess I can psychoanalyze Candace Owens in the same way that she analyzed all of these therapists and say maybe her bottling up all of her emotions is leading to that pot exploding, or the lid exploding off of the boiling pot, I should say, and it's manifesting itself in these bizarre conspiracy theories when she has no evidence for these weird claims that she says oftentimes on her show, but yet has the audacity to ironically claim that she values facts over feelings. Look, I don't get why she comes to these conclusions or where she comes up with these conspiracy theories, but I've got to say, on the subject of therapy, Candace, I hope your insurance covers it, because you need it.
She ain't gonna get it, though. Because they're just going to teach you to have, like, emotions over facts, because I totally, am not doing that at all myself. Not whatsoever. Well, I think that would just cause anybody to do that. Definitely caused me to, get on the verge of that shit, considering her advice. Like, nope. It's, like, definitely, not... She's totally not a, insane person at all. Not at all. What you doing, little boo-boo? Little bubble. What you doing? Little goofball. What's it doing, blah, blah, blah? Well. Huh? Here. Here. Come here. Come here. Let's see if we'll get over here. Come on. Come here. Oh my lord. Come here. Come here. Are we serious? You're just plopped there, huh? Yeah, he ain't budging. Took off. Come here. Oh my god, you sleepy little boy.
Back to annoy you again.
Zooks, come here. Oh, yeah, fuck you two, dog. Just gotta chuck that at him. You just push it off to the side. That dog didn't even want it. I was thinking at the very least he would probably, like, you know, maybe eat some of it, but now he just literally looked at it, sniffed it, and just brushed it off. It's like, nah, I don't want this treat. Man, what a fucking goofy ass little dog, dude. Like, are you serious, dude? Seriously, Munt? Do you really not want a treat? You goofy little thing. Come here. Come on. Do you really not want one? I have to grab another one because I really don't want to get up and go grab that one. Wow. Okay. Wow. This is the first time he's just like, nah, I don't want one at all. I'm genuinely kind of surprised. Like, he's just like, nah. Man, but I've never seen an animal just be like, no, I don't want a treat. I don't want a little snack. I've never seen that. What in the hell are you doing now? Are you trying to figure out that armrest or something? What is he doing? Man, this dog is... I don't get him. Me trying to process what he's doing right now is honestly, like, hurt my brain. The lack of getting a treat, or wanting it, like, straight denying it, to... Well, now he's grooming himself, but initially, like, trying to figure out an armrest. But now he's back to messing with it again. Oh my god, okay, this dog, he's got a very cat-like mentality right now. You really think of yourself as a cat, don't you? You silly little thing. But, you know, I think I'll get this last little bowl of smoke down here and then, find myself on some food. I did see some ramen in there that I might whip up, because that actually sounds pretty good. Looked like a spicy beef ramen. So I'm just like, alright. Sounds amazing. I haven't had ramen in a minute, honestly. I wonder if I could doctor her up with some stuff. Kind of make it a little bit more of a bigger thing. Yeah, have an egg or two. Maybe I'll scramble some of those bad boys up in there. What is up with you, dog? Anyway. Peace out. Of course. I'll be back around for the next one. So